Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan-Krzysztof, and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you, and I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind the scenes insights. See you then.
Air quality isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think about chess and esports, but it affects our focus, decision-making, health, sleep, and more. What's in the air you breathe? Find out with Airthings.
It's time to take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Magnus Carlsen introduces Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Move Trainer uses the science of spaced repetition to identify your strengths and eliminate your weaknesses. There's no need to set up a board, remember which page you're on, or keep track of all the moves you miss. Move Trainer empowers you to go from the opening to the endgame with confidence. It's a seamless, effective, and fun way to study chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses, including over 100 free courses. Get expert insights from International Master John Bartholomew, Grandmaster Sam Shankland, International Master Krzysztof Sulecki, Grandmaster Simon Williams, World Champion Magnus Carlsen, and hundreds of other instructors. Get started now and join our growing community of over 100,000 chess enthusiasts at chessable.com. Chessable, take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses.
This is John. John loves to study chess. This is David. David loves to study chess as well, but efficiently. John spends more time setting up the board and figuring out what's on the page of his book than he gets to study. David likes to take it easy and use his time wisely. David has finished his exercise for today. John should try the same.
Okay, so let's send a challenge.
Here is challenging. Nice graphics, easy to see. Oh, what are you thinking about? You're looking how it can be the most painful?
Exactly. Okay, fine.
That I give up a phone. He wants to be even rude.
Welcome to the new Chess24 playing experience. Play in light mode or dark mode. Choose from a range of time controls or create a custom game. And get paired with players from around the world fast. Enjoy a polished playing experience while making moves on a fresh, responsive board to claim your victories. Train and improve with over 80,000 puzzles. And that's not all. Download now and discover what more you can enjoy in our brand new app.
I'm ahead of the game. Well, the phone is always ringing. I'm caught up on the line. Got a string around my finger. Remember who am I? I'm a boss and I'm honestly off my rocker, but follow me. I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game. I'm only ever slinging. I'm working overtime. Got a song and I'm the singer, the melody, the vibe. I'm a prodigy. Logically, I'm impossibly wanted. And they'll remember my name. They'll remember my name. Ooh, well, I'm ahead now. I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game. Ooh, well, I'm ahead now. I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game. Well, I'm ahead now. Well, I'm ahead now. I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game.
I kept Chessable a secret for 3 years at least, and I was using it for myself. And I, maybe never expected how big it would become. I have always been into games, and I think games are fun ways to pass your time. Sometimes they can be educational as well, but I think chess is the perfect game that has it all. It's a game that not only entertains you, but also teaches you about life skills, from things like time management to the consequences of your moves or your actions. Once you make a move, you cannot take it back. I really fell in love with the game And of course, given my competitive nature, I wanted to get better at it. And I found it extremely difficult after watching countless videos and reading some books. You would put in all that effort, and then when you get to the board, it's like it all disappeared, it all vanished, and you performed at the exact same level you were before that. And I looked around for a solution that could perhaps use the latest technology, the latest learning science out there to help you learn chess, and there was nothing. So that's how the idea was born. I've been building things since I was 14, and I always enjoy bringing a community together around a product. And yeah, I mean, we got a lot of energy from the chess community as well. Really from day one, when we announced Chessable, there was thousands of people who thought this was a good idea that had to be realized. And they've been fantastic with words of encouragement, support, advice, ideas on how to improve the product. And I believe they've been listened to over these years, and Chessable is exactly what that initial community wanted. And it's part of our product process to actually keep listening to them going forward into the next years. Chessable is definitely a product that was built by players for players. I think we have stuck to that vision, and it continues to be exactly the same. What has changed is we now have a lot more great people in chess helping us realize this. You know, when I started, it was John and I, there was two of us, and then at some point we had 3 or 4 people. We had a small community around it. But now there is really an incredible amount of people that I never imagined all pulling in the same direction. So the future is bright. It really excites me what we can achieve together, and I just look forward to it. It's been absolutely incredible to see the reception by some of the top grandmasters in the world, like Grandmaster Anish Giri and Erwin Olami. And this sort of validation across the spectrum of players is fantastic, and it's really what keeps the entire team going. So, fabulous. Hi, my name is David Senemaza Kramali. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Chessable and the Chief Operating Officer of the Play Magnus Group.
Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan-Krzysztof, and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match, and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you, and I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind-the-scenes insights. See you.
Welcome everyone to the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour Charity Cup. That's the name of the event this time, the Charity Cup. This tour, of course, organized by the Play Magnus Group. And this event is very special as Play Magnus Group have partnered with UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, to raise funds for children in Ukraine. So please, if you're having a good time, if you're enjoying the event, if you're gripped by the fascinating encounters between the top players in the world, then do consider donating. So far, over $71,000 has been raised, which is just fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for your support. That is really brilliant. So we are kicking off our games, the knockout games, in 6 minutes' time. And, well, let's talk through the pairings with Peter Leko. Peter, how are you?
Yeah, hello, Danny. Hello, everyone. Well, actually, still in kind of a shock, after what we have witnessed in the preliminaries. I mean, Richard Rapport getting knocked out, not making to the knockout stage. Vidit falling out in a most dramatic way by almost beating Magnus Carlsen on demand. And then also the story of the young prodigy, Pragnanda, was very, very close, and it looked like he definitely deserves also to qualify. So yeah, it's a big heartbreak for all these guys. But at the same time, as I think Rapport was also tweeting, everyone who made it very well deserved it. So a lot of sportsmanship from all the sides of the players. And now we are in the knockout stages with some incredible pairings.
Yeah, I mean, just picking up on the stories from yesterday, I thought that game that Vidit played against Magnus was just close to a masterpiece. I mean, really, this was strategically wonderfully played by Vidit. The way that he managed to keep his chances going in a position which, frankly, he didn't look like he had much. But it was that pawn on h6, which was the grit in the oyster. That was the pawn that made such a difference, so that when it came down to that position with queen and 2 minor pieces each, Vidit still had chances and generated chances. And at the end, that pawn was the problem as well, because it disappeared, and suddenly, even though Vidit was a piece up, that pawn disappeared, and then suddenly all the pawns disappeared from the board. But it was such a great performance from Vidit, actually. And, well, we have to give Magnus credit as well, because he, in a position which looked utterly lost, he succeeded in just finding enough to keep the game going. The star defensive move from Magnus was f5, and which was hard to imagine at all as a try to keep things going. But yeah, a wonderful move. I mean, that game, if you haven't seen it, folks, then do check it out. It was extraordinary, incredible drama there. So Peter, let's talk about the pairings for today. So let's go from the top. So we have Liem against David Navara. What's your feeling about that one?
Well, my feeling is that it's an absolutely 50-50 match. I mean, first of all, everything that happened before should be forgotten. I mean, that Liem Quang played brilliantly preliminaries doesn't mean anything. I mean, he's absolutely not in any safe situation. And also we have seen that David Navara, after having quite a rough start, and we have been talking about this, that we don't know exactly how experienced or how good he is in online chess. Well, definitely on the 3rd, 4th day, he find his rhythm. He beat Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces in a wonderful game. And he even missed some chances. I mean, he could have even scored more. So in this case, I also absolutely feel that he did qualify in the last minute, but it was very well deserved with his incredible comeback. And nothing is granted there.
Okay, let's move on to David Anton against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Now, what's your feeling there?
Well, I kind of have almost the same feeling, because Duda started very well, then he slowed down, and David Anton was just as David Navara, having a slow start, and all of a sudden the last day he won all his last 3 games. Yeah, that's why he jumped, and actually very comfortably at the end qualified if you look at the final standings. But yeah, a lot of dramas. If he would have lost to Prague this very sharp game, then he would have been out. Well, I feel like, okay, Duda with his experience should be a little bit kind of a slight favorite. On the other hand, we know that if David Anton gets in shape, then he is capable of upsetting the top guys. So I also here feel like, okay, maybe it's 55-45 if you want to hear percentage, but not more for Duda.
Okay, then we have Ding Liren against Jordan van Foreest.
Yeah, that's a very big pairing. I think we will be seeing very interesting opening debates. We did see Jordan beating Ding Liren with this two knights, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5 line. Yeah, Jordan is famous for all those very, very tricky lines, which are extremely dangerous in rapid chess. So the big question is, in my opinion, how Ding Liren will manage to control Jordan's dangerous repertoire and then rely on his class. It's going to be a very, very tough match. I mean, definitely a very enjoyable one.
Okay, and then finally, we have Magnus Carlsen against Hans Niemann.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, here I kind of still feel like it's master versus student kind of. We know that Hans is a very dangerous student, as we have witnessed. He qualified. He has also beaten Ding Liren with the black pieces. On the other hand, against Magnus, that game, that line in the Ruy Lopez, open Spanish, actually open Ruy Lopez, Magnus showed better understanding and actually better, much deeper preparation. So it's a big challenge for Hans. Definitely I think he should be super happy facing Magnus, because this is an incredible chance to learn as much as possible, playing a 4 games match against Magnus Carlsen. But of course, here it's clear that Magnus is the absolute favorite.
Okay, Peter, well, you've been hedging your bets a little bit. I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. Liem is going to win, Duda's going to win, Ding's going to win, and Carlsen's going to win. There you have it. Okay, that's what's going to happen.
All right, well, actually, that would also set up to this incredible match, Magnus Carlsen against Ding Liren, which I think the whole chess world would be watching forward to seeing, because this is we haven't seen in the previous, in the Airthings Masters, there was a very big chance, but Artyom have turned the tables against Ding Liren, kicked Ding Liren out in the quarterfinals, and then we didn't see this big clash. But definitely something to keep an eye on. On the other hand, if Jordan upsets Ding Liren, then we have an incredible match between Magnus Carlsen and his second Jordan van Foreest. That's also a very special pairing. But first of all, Magnus has to make it. I mean, Hans is dangerous. Who knows? I mean, of course, if Magnus gets command, everything is fine. But we are hearing all the time in all the interviews that Hans is burning with confidence. Yeah, he's so confident. And then suddenly, you know, just in the first game, he gets somehow lucky or everything goes his way. Then who knows, he might actually believe that he can beat the world champion. So the first game will be very, very important.
Well, you're still hedging, and I still think that the favorites are just going to power through here. If I'm wrong, fine. But I mean, hang on. Okay, talking about favorites. Okay, Magnus clear favorite. But I mean, why is Leko Liem a favorite against David Navara? Can you please tell me? Because Liem's performance in the preliminaries was magnificent. It's as simple as that. He is on absolutely fantastic form. Very simple. He's the form player. It's so simple, Peter. You know that. Yeah.
Actually, we have, by the way, lift off.
Wow.
And we are seeing some big clashes. Yeah, we were hedging, we were discussing, and the guys started the action. Okay, let's start with Leko Liem against David Navara, because you mentioned Leko Liem as a favorite. Let's see. This is a Ragozin. This is a Ragozin, actually, and a very fashionable line now with Queen A4 check, Knight C6, and A3. It used to be some kind of a sideline, but recently it became one of the main lines. Takes, Bishop D7. A small surprise, but I think Anish has already played it. The move Bishop D7, C takes D5, E D5, Bishop G5, H6, Bishop H4, and yeah, Leko Liem, to me it feels like he's very well prepared and he has very nice practical preparation, which actually helps a lot being successful in rapid chess.
So Liem is actually a coach at I think it's Webster University in the States, and I'm sure that's helped him because you know he's training these students there who are, well, when I say students, these are all really strong chess players, He must be helping them with their repertoire, and I'm sure that's forced him to actually do a lot of work himself. So yeah, theoretically, he should be pretty sharp.
Yeah, he always was actually, but I perfectly understand. This is also kind of very nice because you are surrounded with people. Yeah, you can also play training games. You see them, you ask them to play training games for different kind of opening ideas, and it can be very, very useful. Let's take a look. Okay, Magnus Carlsen against Hans Niemann is little bit of a slow start. This is this Reti business that already Magnus and Jordan debated in the preliminaries. Magnus, of course, doesn't shy away from slow strategic play. Hans relies exactly on the same opening moves as Jordan did, however, with a small twist, because he started with the move a6, and I'm wondering what this a6 really means, because the whole point of the knight bd7 move order was that that if you go knight bd7, then white cannot play the move knight c3, because then this dc4 b takes c4 knight b6 trick, which happened in the match, as I already mentioned when we discussed it. So I'm a little bit surprised. What I understand from this, that Hans actually opted for a6 because after the move knight bd7, Magnus played the move a4. Yeah, and this was somehow a mysterious move, but if we look back that why, for example, Hans probably wanted to start with a6, that maybe after a4 he was thinking to fix the structure with a5, and then maybe he could make good use of his knight via a6 to jump to b4. That's kind of one of the explanations what I'm getting why he started with the move a6. But this case, Magnus, of course, immediately used the chance to develop his knight to c3, knight b7, e3, and white is now always in time to protect the c4 pawn very nicely, comfortably with queen e2.
Okay, so Magnus is just getting his kind of setup, basically. Super solid. Rook's in the middle. Yeah, very comfortable there. Okay, listen, let's move on and let's have a look at this game between Ding Liren and Jordan van Foreest, because it looks like one of these absolute typical Queen's Gambit accepted positions, with white having an isolated Queen's pawn and Ding playing very directly, putting the bishop straight back to b1.
Yeah, let's take a look how it started. So yeah, d4, d5, c4, d takes c4, the Queen's Gambit accepted. Knight f3, knight f6. So far very standard. And yeah, this knight c6 move is the pet move of Jordan. Whenever he plays the Queen's Gambit accepted, he prefers to go with knight c6, not with a6. To be honest, I never really understand why, because it's already so difficult for white to find any advantage after a6. Why do you need to speculate? But certainly there is some point.
Is it about avoiding that endgame after a6 and taking on c5? I wonder whether that has something to do with it, because actually recently white has been doing pretty well in this endgame. It's
yes,
a bit irritating.
Yes, I mean, basically for quite some while. Yeah, I think also Kramnik was the one who was mastering these endgames and was putting a lot of pressure. Yeah, it could easily be. But on the other hand, with knight c6, black is also fixing his knight quite quickly on the c6 square. So let's see, knight c3, a6. Yeah, this is now the big tabia. Ding Liren goes bishop d3. Because actually this can also happen via different move orders. For example, if black plays the move a6, of course here knight c3 is not the main move, but after knight c3, for example, if black goes knight c6, we have exactly the same position. Ding Liren opted for bishop d3, c takes d4, e takes d4, typical. That's how we got this typical structure, yeah, with the isolated pawn a3, stopping knight b4, very important, b5, bishop b1. Yeah, so white wants to go immediately for this queen d3 kind of position, but what does he want? Bishop b7, queen d3, knight a5 on the board, and basically now white has to show his intention, that how he wants to claim advantage. Of course, he's putting pressure on h7, but for example, after bishop g5, black can just simply play a move like g6, and it's not obvious how to continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very crude way of playing, isn't it? It's just setting up this battery with the bishop on b1, and at the moment the rook on a1. Well, if we could do a Fischer random leap to d1, then that would be very pleasant. But at the moment, it's a bit locked in there. I mean, okay, well, let's just play a normal move. Let's just play knight e5. What's black up to then?
But hang on, then I might.
Oh, help! That was sneaky. I forgot about that. Then my rook is even worse, and d4 is hanging. Okay, right. That's my first blunder of the day. I hold my hand up.
No, I think it's a very nice illustration. You just wanted to show that what
I just wanted to show it. Absolutely, it was all intentional. Yes, my eyes were fixated on the knight going to c4, and forgot about knight b3, which is actually very irritating.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that was the reason why I automatically moved the bishop to g5, but it does not help so much. I mean, bishop g5, g6 might also be sometimes in black's favor, because if he jumps away with the knight, then we are already about to trade some pieces, and usually trading some pieces is quite nice news for black. The big question for me that when will white turn his bishop to the other diagonal with bishop a2, that is it the right moment after bishop g5, g6, or is it the right moment already immediately? That's a very big question.
True. Okay, so yeah, bishop a2 seems indicated.
But I don't see exactly what is my big threat. For example, after bishop a2, so of course two moves like knight d5 or rook c8 come to mind. And if there is no threat, then of course rook c8 would be very natural, because you get your favorite move with knight c4 coming in.
Yeah, but knight d5, there are already tricks with, yeah, rook c8 is better. But I was just going to say, with knight d5, of course, there's bishop d5, and there's actually problems on the e file.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this knight d5, bishop d5, okay, I can insist that I can still take on g5, but this is ugly. I mean, if black knight lands on b7, it's not, not nice.
Not good.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm just very, very surprised that why Ding blitzed out everything up till this moment. Everything is very normal. Everything is very logical. Black plays the most natural move, knight a5, which actually comes with a lot of questions. I'm even having a feeling that did he get disconnected? No, but it seems like he's concentrated. He doesn't seem to be disconnected. But I'm always having, you know, this nightmare that, you know, it's still like it has to be his preparation, and he's spending 5 minutes. Something is not right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we'll leave. Oh, Ding's just played bishop g5 actually.
Yeah, he played bishop g5. I mean, did he get reconnected, or did he really think so long? And bishop a2 blitzed out. I somehow have the feeling that there was some disconnect. And I heard yesterday's Levon's interview where he said that, yeah, in online chess, one of his big scares is if he gets suddenly a slow connection, and then he feels like, oh my God, anytime I can get disconnected. So he plays the whole game in a very rapid fashion in order to have some backup time. That's if you get that feeling, then it's very difficult to control what you are doing. And Jordan goes knight c4. It seems to me like he very much feels this position. Pawn does not matter. Let's just show this, that yeah, bishop c4, bc, queen c4, bishop takes f3, gf3 with this damaged pawn structure. I mean, it feels like black definitely has enough compensation.
That's oh dear. Yeah, not a pleasant pawn structure. Yeah, they look like English teeth to me.
But on the other hand, okay, pawn is a pawn, and white shouldn't be any worse. And still, maybe black has to kind of prove some compensation. It's one thing that we say from feeling it looks very nice and it should be fine. But another thing is to prove it. Another question is, do we really give up our incredibly beautiful bishop from b7? Or are we maybe even trying some move like knight d5?
Interesting. Ding has gone for this. Ding has gone for it. I'm actually really surprised.
Well, he didn't have a choice. I think he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, well, Jordan is weighing up the decision whether to shatter the pawns on the king side or retain the wonderful bishop. I don't know. Hacking on f3 feels right to me.
Yeah, it's very, very human and very tempting. But maybe it's not the right moment also to continue our tour. We haven't taken a look on David Anton versus Jan-Krzysztof Duda. It started out as a Berlin. I think it started out as a Berlin with Rook E1. That's why I felt like let's deal first with the other games, because Rook E1 does not excite that much. But at the same time, this was not the usual kind of stuff. Yeah, White is trying some gambit like A4 line. Bishop E7, Knight C3 first, Castles D4. And Black says, you know what? You are cooking me something. I'm not really interested what you are cooking. Let me just play E4. Let me play in the Berlin spirit to be as solid as possible. Takes, A6, yeah, A6, bishop moves back, D5 comes with a tempo, and it feels like Black might get a very simple normal play. I also know that Duda used to be much more of a Petrov player, and this structure also reminds very much of the Petrov, so I understand why he basically did not really think too much and opted for this. Bishop F5, C3, Queen D7, B4, and suddenly there is some new twists in the position compared to all these Petrovs. White is not trading the pieces, but goes for some quick B5, A-B5, Bishop B5, and we reach the current position.
But it doesn't look terrifying from Black's viewpoint. Feels like Black is absolutely fine here. I mean, can't we just put a rook on the E-file? And I don't see what the problem is, basically.
Yeah, no, there is no problem. The rook E1 Berlin shouldn't really pose any problems. But okay, White says, because for some reason White pushed B5, and basically he was forced to capture with the bishop, yeah, because of the pin. And wow, Queen C8 played, which means that after Rook E8 probably Duda was a little bit concerned of Knight E5, forcing that you might have to give up your bishop due to the pin, and this was not entirely to his liking.
Not to his taste. So he's dropped back with Queen C8, and I suppose that does introduce the possibility of Knight to A5, just to put the knight on a nice square and looking at C4 as well. So anyway, it looks like Black is very comfortable there. I would really like to go back to the game between Liem and Navara, because that is such a strange position with White's rook has emerged on H4. Really? What a strange position.
Yeah, very strange, but at the same time, it looks very, very promising for White. I mean, not just because the engine bar says that this is wonderful, but somehow, I mean, it feels like Black's position is compromised, and White has this incredible, lovely pawn structure with this wonderful, wonderful bishop on G3. White's king is always safe. The rook on H4 actually puts a lot of pressure on the G4 pawn. Now also some direct questions like, can White go for something like Rook C1? And for example, after Queen takes G2, there might be Rook C5 attacking. Let me just show this. Rook C1, for example, Queen takes G2, which looks like a threat, might be met by Rook C5.
Wow. That is so bizarre.
And it's on the board. Rook C1 on the board.
Oh, nice move, Peter. That is, that looks so painful already. C7 is hanging. Rook C5 on its way. And in fact, yeah, that could be fatal, because one could also take on F5 and Bishop D3. Oh, this is really nasty.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, you have to play the move B6, but it's not only losing the C7 pawn. It's why that everything falls afterwards. I mean, maybe B6 is the only move.
Yeah, and don't forget that White can also consider just hacking on G4 as well, and just going into even allowing G2 to fall, because Black's king looks like it's in desperate trouble there.
Yeah, especially, yeah, now that Rook C1, B6 are included, yeah, you can just take on G4. Wow. I mean, the reason why I, noticed Rook C1 so easily, because I did not notice that the G4 pawn was hanging. That was the whole secret behind my Rook C1.
Well, it looks like an incredibly strong move, and Well, Navara still thinking here, but his options are severely limited. If c7 drops, well, it looks pretty bad. But yeah, after b6, actually, instead of taking on c7, I think probably taking on g4 looks so nasty because black's king is very open.
So takes.
With queen d3 check to come, of course.
Yeah, and okay, it looks catastrophical.
Yeah. Can we just show the position after queen takes g2, queen d3, and bishop e5?
Checkmate. Yeah, on the spot.
Oof.
Yeah, b6 on the board. I mean, maybe after bishop g4, in fact, black needs to sacrifice the rook. I mean, the exchange takes, and then fish with queen takes g2. I don't believe in it, but who knows? I mean, at least we have to consider it.
Yeah. And then actually, well, I mean, there's quite a few moves, aren't there? Even just rook f4. Yeah, exactly. Rook f4 and it looks desperate.
Looks winning. Yeah,
looks desperate for black. Yeah, really.
Yeah, wow. But then after bishop g4, what is David considering to do? I mean, we also see the evaluation bar things like, yeah, that's it. I mean, white is just completely winning. And maybe just with this simple move collecting the pawn. Yeah.
Well, b6 on the board, so Liem is thinking now. Let's go back to Magnus, because actually things are rolling in the middle of the board.
Yeah, and things are heating up. I do feel like, I mean, he has gained control of the center. Yeah, he managed to push e4. Thanks to his f3 move, he has reshuffled his knight to d3. It's a lovely spot because white is ready to jump to c5. And in fact, it's even his move. Yeah, the last move was queen a5 to d8. Of course, now the rook is hanging. This mysterious bishop h6 that we already talked about in the Jordan game versus Magnus. But there it made much more sense because the white knight was on e3 and it was slightly misplaced. Let's take a look. How did it happen? So e3, knight e4, rook c1, rook c8, queen e2. I feel like this is the typical Predrag Nikolic position. This is what Predrag was looking forward from the white side. And in 95, when I had something like this against him, I knew that this is a total nightmare. I mean, this is just very unpleasant. Knight e5 is coming. Takes. I think back then we were playing something like this, that we captured on c3 and then played the move bishop e4, and then white was playing these typical moves like rook fd1, e6, and then bishop f1, targeting the bishop. And in this moment, black was taking on f3, and black had to suffer. I think I was suffering in one of my games in Vaikanzi against him in 95. I do believe I held it, but it was a total nightmare. I promised myself never again, never again. But here, Hans, somehow it feels to me he traded too late, and he was not able to get rid of his bishop. Bishop b2, queen a5, f3, kicking back the knight, and now white comes with e4. Now Magnus reshuffles his knight from e5 to d3, having all these lovely squares in mind. Bishop a6, and that's how we got to this current position. Rook cd1, b6 on the board. Well, this is a clear advantage for white.
Which way do you go? So white has to make a decision in the center. Are you going to push forward with e5? Are you going to play on the queen side? What should white do here?
Yeah, that's the only only problem, that you have to decide. And Magnus opts for knight f2. Very interesting, keeping everything under control. Now the pawn on c4 is guarded. He also he wants to make himself ready for expanding with e5, f4, and whatever. Yeah, this is probably the main idea. And also it gives black the move, and by not releasing the tension, this is very important, that white keeps the tension. Black is lacking space, the rook is not opened, and he cannot break out. It will be very difficult to make a useful move for black. And he goes for dc, bc, and probably b5. He wants to create counterplay. understandable.
Well, that at least has the merit that c5 bishop c4 is a bit irritating for white. So yeah, Niemann he's fighting as best he can. No, that's not an option. I was just looking at d5, but there are problems on the c file. If d5, then that can be taken, and then
but
actually,
still,
that's
probably
not so. It's not so
d5.
clear. Yeah, let's try. Yeah.
Critical move. Yeah, cd5. So you have to take on f6. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, bishop f6, ef6, and then you take cd5. We have to go bishop d7, and then white probably just pushes f4, right? And then, but okay. I mean, it might be good for, d5 on the board. It might be good for white, but it's also, black is getting counterplay. I mean, this is exactly what Hans needs. Yeah, d5, cd, cd on the board. Maybe after bishop, cd immediately. Okay, so yeah, Magnus doesn't want to give up his bishop. I mean, he gives it up, but in a different way. Yeah, that after rook takes c3, he gets the light square bishop, and then he will be able to eliminate the f7 pawn and then rely on his better pawn structure and the light square bishops, his light square bishop. So, in fact, probably black goes for rook c3. Okay.
I see. So he's looking to get in rook c2 and get the rook to the second rank, but it's risky. You know, I just look at black's king and think there could be some problems there. But yeah, it's double-edged. Very interesting. We've been told that Ding is breaking through.
Wow.
Let's have a look. d5.
Yeah, this is the move that we always have to watch out in these positions, and we have to show immediately the trick that after knight takes d5, it is the move rook d1 to d5 which wins the game, wins material, because the bishop on e7 is hanging. Bishop g5 can be answered by rook g5, and also rook takes c3 is no help, because after bc still the same problems are there with the bishop on e7. So e takes d5 is played, but this case now white simply gets what he wants. Hang on, rook e7, queen e7, knight d5 seems to be winning material. Why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure why not.
Why not?
No. Nope. That looks...
I mean, everything is protected, yeah?
Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah.
It might just be over. I mean, I feel like, you know, ever since you called out that favorite is gonna win, I mean, the other guys have no chance, yeah?
I'm telling you. Yeah. Okay, this is really bizarre, because this is like the most simple, obvious tactic in isolated queen's pawn position. So I'm just curious as to why he's gone in for this, and are we missing something? I mean, this is really bizarre.
Yeah, I even can't really imagine what we could be missing, but maybe the problem was that there was no move in the position. I don't know. I mean, okay, white is already pawn up, he's threatening to break everything, and now also with rook fc8, rook a8, I mean with rook a8 and rook fc8, black has compromised his position completely, yeah? If the move queen b2 does not work because of probably d6 tactic was winning. Yeah, let's just show this. Yeah, I think that queen b2, d takes e6, and after queen takes e3, ef7 check, king f7, rook takes e7 check feels quite devastating. But okay, there's a check on d7, yeah, and it's checkmate. Yeah, queen d7 check, and black can't take it. King f8 only move, and then bishop h6 check, king g8, queen g7. That's probably the justification of this line.
Well, Foreest has given up the queen.
Yeah, there was nothing else. Yeah,
but it doesn't look very hopeful. I mean, I suppose he's going to put his knight on f5 and attempt to hassle white's king a little bit, but well, considering that white has an extra pawn on the queen side, it doesn't look very hopeful for black.
Yeah, and also white has the more active pieces. Yeah, it's if black would be doubled with his rooks on the e file and white rook would be on a1, then we could be saying that, wow, yeah, the knight is jumping, the rooks are supporting, there is action, but here it doesn't look like it. Okay, so this is a technical win for.
Let's go to Magnus, because it looks like he is a piece up. Let me count them. Yep, piece up. And okay, let's see how we got there. It doesn't look too troublesome for white.
Yeah, f4. Yeah, cutting out this bishop. fe6, e5. This is very much in Magnus's spirit. Yeah, knight d5, bishop d5, takes. And then Hans decided to sacrifice, to gamble on with bishop takes f4, not waiting for some strategical ground with good knight versus bad bishop, and also his king is compromised in long term. So anything like rook c2, and then I don't know, white goes for maybe queen g4 even, and then some queen e6, rook d7 invasion might happen. So Hans decided to be practical and captured on f4, takes, and well, my first feeling is that okay, this can never be enough. Yeah, Magnus goes for knight d3, but somehow the evaluation bar doesn't say that white is completely winning. Yeah, so there is some practical chance.
Interesting. I think I might have kept my knight on f2 just to block everything out, but okay, Magnus wants to exchange rooks. Interesting that Magnus is actually down on time, so this one isn't cut and dried yet.
Yeah, and this is not something that happens very often, that Magnus is behind. Yeah, he's trying to play quite quickly in this online formats. On the other hand, okay, he still has plenty of time. Yeah, it's not like he's done to 1 or 1.5 minutes when maybe he could be seeing ghost with his king. Now he still has time to play a controlled game. Yeah, that's what matters. And by eliminating this rook, yeah, if, for example, let's just show that after takes, actually there is no good way of attacking the rook on d5, because whenever the black queen moves, there is a rook d8 check followed by queen f8 checkmate. Yeah, rook f1 on the board. I'm expecting the move queen takes f1.
And just a reminder to everyone that the players do get 10 seconds added to their time each time they make a move. So that means that even when you go down to the wire, you're still in there basically. But yeah, Magnus has 4 minutes remaining, so he's not on the edge yet. But yeah, it's very interesting. The eval bar doesn't give a huge advantage to white here, which is somehow very surprising.
Yeah, it feels like it should be a technical win, but yeah, I understand Magnus perfectly that he is still not sure how to take, because taking with the king is also so natural, stepping out of any kind of checks. Yeah, and the queen on e2 is quite a nice stabilizer, but yeah, finally Magnus opts for queen f1. It's, I think, a more direct way, and he made sure that basically no tactics are really working for black. Then yeah, rook c2 played. Black basically secures the second rank, plus puts pressure on the a2 pawn. Yeah, it's not so easy, because how to get to black's king? Yeah, that's a big question.
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah,
the move I really want to play for white is pawn to e6. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a drawback to that move, namely checkmate on h2.
Wow, yes. Yeah, queen h2 checkmate. Yeah, that's
e6 would be a good move if it wasn't for checkmate. But
yeah, exactly. Let's just show that it could be easily, consider that queen b6 is a problem, which actually would have resulted in a checkmate on the other side. Yeah. To illustrate how sharp and how tricky the position is, Magnus played the stabilizer queen f3.
I think Magnus would prefer to have a piece on f1, a rook, a bishop, a knight, but yeah, the king is looking a little bit breezy on g1 at the moment.
Yeah, but he might be now moving back the knight to f2, yeah, where you really love that knight after trading, and with queen on f3, and then already e6 will be a deadly threat. Probably that's what Magnus is trying to create.
Okay, listen, let's go over to Anton against Duda, because it looks like Duda is the exchange up.
Duda is exchange up, but it was a planned sacrifice by David Anton. And David Anton is a very, very fine positional player who likes actually to sacrifice material. In this, F knight h4, f5, knight f3 played. He gets an e5 square, and he also has nice pawn structure. Okay, I feel that white should have enough compensation probably, but definitely not more than that. I mean, black should be fine.
When you say fine, do you mean better?
No, not necessarily, but I mean, okay, for example, seeing that I can just play a move like rook e8, rook e7, and against knight e5, I always have knight f7. Yes, so I feel like I can never lose, and yes, I'm exchange up. So maybe in the long run, I might be able to get something out of this.
I mean, black's king is very safe, isn't it? I mean, barring an accident, black is very well coordinated, very solid. Pawns are absolutely regular. Just feels like, you know, if anyone is going to be better here, it should be black. And Duda heading for the H file. Yeah, watch out. G5, Queen H6. Something very crude could happen as well.
Yeah, Queen E1 played. Yeah, it's. I mean, okay, black should be clearly better. In fact, I got carried away that okay, there is this lovely pawn, knight f3, and we should just very quickly see how this exchange sacrifice unfolded. That white provoked this with rook e5, bishop e4, bishop d3. So basically, he let his own rook get trapped on e5, imagining that he will sacrifice and he will have nice positional compensation due to the fact that black's pawn structure is vulnerable. But Duda has, I think, understood the position maybe better, that he's in time to bring his knight back to d6 with tempo and stabilizes. And after that, yeah, now it can only black who could be better here.
Yeah, it's gone, rook e8, queen c1. Okay, but I mean, Anton is hanging tough there. He's solid. I can see we have our first result of the day. So Liem did defeat Navara very convincingly.
Yeah, and England is winning against Van Foreest. So it means that basically the biggest fight, and Magnus is down to 1.5 minutes on the clock. I think we have to stay with this game.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Queen c2 check on the board, because okay, maybe objectively white is better, but with so little time on the clock, this is very tricky. Of course, white is also creating threats against black's king with the knight e6 check, but queen c2 check, probably the idea is to get the queen back to f5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision, you know, whether does white put the knight back, or do you okay, he's put the knight back.
Yeah, he wants to stop any kind of queen f5. Rook e1, king f2. Where is the rook going? Queen b1. Aha, so Hans is insisting on threatening something with each move.
Scary. So the king, okay, if king g2, then actually black can hit the knight again.
Yes, so maybe knight g3. Actually, maybe knight g3 is a move, just to defend from rook f1. But at the same time, okay, the knight is heading somewhere where it does not belong so much. But maybe it's possible to go knight g3, and then you have to probably move the rook. Yeah, I guess maybe rook c1. Yeah. And then I can, for example, come back rook d2, and I feel like I more or less stabilize. That's the feeling I'm getting. Magnus down to 30 seconds. Not so simple.
Not at all. He's now under. Still hasn't moved. Let's have a look at Magnus. Let's see what he looks like.
Yeah, still looks pretty calm. But 15 seconds. I mean, something is wrong. We are not getting the right clock situation. Magnus goes queen d3 with 20 seconds on the clock. Or Magnus just says, guys, okay, no need to panic. If I'm not panicking, why are you guys panicking? Rook f1 check. King e3, using the knight. Wow.
Ooh, just running around the knight. It's risky. It's very risky. The king is now going for a little walk. Oh.
Queen e1 settling queen f2, but queen f2 will be met by king d2, then queen e1 check is coming back. Magnus down to less than 20 seconds. How does he control this?
Well, it feels like it's out of control already.
Yeah, but with so little time, he needs to control it. And now what? Queen f2 check, where is he running?
I don't know.
Because king d2, queen e1 check, isn't this a perpetual?
Looks like it, because the king
Oh, then no, then king c2, queen b1 check, king c3. I mean, this requires perfect calculation or incredible nerves or both. I don't know, because white is still not settling anything. Maybe black can just collect a pawn, and
yeah, exactly.
This is.
I think Magnus might just head for a draw after queen f2, king d2, queen e1. I think he might just put the king back because it looks too risky to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, white is not settling anything yet.
And Niemann has enough time.
Yeah, Hans definitely has enough. But does he? Yeah, he goes queen f2 check, king d2.
Yeah, I think this is going to end in a draw. Yeah, here we go. They're repeating moves.
Yeah, they have to repeat. I mean, okay, there is. But okay, who knows? I have king d2, queen e1. Is it already third time? Yeah, draw. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this bishop takes f4. Hans probably felt absolutely correctly that he has practical chances. Magnus couldn't believe, in my opinion. He just couldn't believe. By the way, everyone, please note that I think our engine bar froze. That's the only explanation why it can still give some advantage for white in this position. So don't pay any attention to the engine bar. We will be fixing it when the games are over.
Okay, still one game going. So we have David Anton against Jan-Krzysztof Duda, and Duda, the exchange up, and that pin on the knight, of course, absolutely crucial. Otherwise, the knight could fly into the attack. But, well, again, we have another situation where one of the kings is a little bit exposed, and actually to control this one is a little difficult with white's queen marauding. Now Anton is under a minute. Has the position frozen? I can't, the clock times don't seem to be updating.
Yes, it seems like it's frozen, yeah.
Oof.
Oh, this is
at the critical moment. No, we've got some, I can see we do have some moves coming.
No, we have to have a very quick break and be back. Yeah, we have to.
Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan-Krzysztof, and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you. And I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind the scenes insights. See you then.
Air quality isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think about chess and esports, but it
Welcome back, folks. Sorry, we had a little break there. We had the system froze, but let's rejoin the game between David Anton and Jan-Krzysztof Duda, where we've reached the critical moment with Duda's king wandering around the board, going over to the queen side, but queen takes g6, and Anton is very much still in the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, he has collected a pawn. Black's king is very, very vulnerable. Yes, the pin is of course very annoying, and black has this lovely queen on e4, but one has the feeling that there are all the chances here for white maybe to escape with a perpetual check. I mean, okay, of course, king will head to a7, it will get shelter, but how do you progress? Yeah, that will be the big question, how to progress afterwards, because queen f8, yeah, protecting the a3 square, stopping any kind of rook a3, very, very important. And then the big question, yeah, queen d5, okay, good. Okay, black is still better. Queen b4 check, rook b5. And now black will come with the rook to b3. Yes, this is... Yeah, and there we have it. The engine bar is back in business. And yeah, I was afraid to start it because when it froze, I had the feeling that, yeah, soon we might be in terrible danger. And it did happen, but now it's only David Anton who is in danger. Queen d2, rook b3, hitting the knight. So white needs to oof, queen d1, super passive, but what to do?
Now is it time to get the... How do we get the b pawn going? Maybe the king comes back to d7 and then push the b pawn, and then of course black will be threatening to simplify down into the pawn endgame. So
yeah, because now white cannot get out of this construction. Yeah.
Rook a3. Now, yeah, he puts the king back on a7 and then pushes the b pawn.
Yes. Yeah, and okay, white will play now queen e2. Yeah, in order to be able to, yeah, queen e2, but king a7. I'm even in a Zugzwang. Yeah, I have to come back to d1. Then already you can also push b5 and queen e2. Then you can come back with the king. Yeah, very systematic approach.
It's really nice technique from Duda. Looks like game over.
Yeah, it's I mean, Duda has much more time than usual. Usually he's down to few seconds on the clock, but with 1 minute 20 and just king a6, enjoying, and he can even after queen d1 go b4 and then king a5, and then he will take on f3 and then queen the b pawn. Yeah.
It's gone. Looks a very, very nice technique actually from Duda. And it's pretty brave to stagger across the board. But I suppose there was always this pin, so he never had to deal with the knight.
Yeah, this queen on e4 was very strong. And it's Zugzwang, and already now queen takes f3 is a threat, just to show that you have the queen d1. Black can just trade everything, push the b pawn, and it queens and wins the game. So basically, I think it's time to resign.
Looks like it. So we've had 3 decisive results. Okay, we'll wait for this one to finish. I think we're just going through the motions. Then I'll just kind of wrap up where we're at.
Yeah, usually whenever I say that somebody is winning exactly, I'm jinxing it, and something happens. But here there is no trick. I mean, this is 0-1, guaranteed 0-1. So yep. we are actually having 3 wins, and as you called out, all the favorites were winning except of Magnus.
So except the really big favorites, Magnus, who only drew. But yeah, fair play to Hans Niemann, who he didn't hesitate about this sacrifice, bishop takes f4. He just realized he needed to hit back, or else he was going to fall into a really passive position. And although, of course, sacrificing a piece, he was worse. He knew that, but at least he had activity, and yeah, very nice practical play. So Ding won, Liem won, Duda won, and Magnus only drew, I say only, we kind of have an expectation that he's sort of going to win every single time. So Peter, I think what we'll do is we're going to take a short break, but we will be back very shortly because I think Navara and Liem will be kicking off pretty soon.
Yeah, I think in few minutes time. Yeah, they should be starting in few minutes. Do we really really have time for break or not?
We're really going to have time for a break. I'm going to call it. I'm going to insist. I need a fresh cup of tea. I'm afraid our producer is not going to be happy with us. But yeah, I'd like just a 2-minute break, and we will be back very shortly. So see you soon.
Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan-Krzysztof, and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you, and I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind the scenes insights. See you then.
Air quality isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think about chess and esports, but it affects our focus, decision-making, health, sleep, and more. What's in the air you breathe? Find out with Air Things.
It's time to take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Magnus Carlsen introduces Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Move Trainer uses the science of spaced repetition to identify your strengths and eliminate your weaknesses. There's no need to set up a board, remember which page you're on, or keep track of all the moves you miss. Move Trainer empowers you to go from the opening to the endgame with confidence. It's a seamless, effective, and fun way to study chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses, including over 100 free courses. Get expert insights from International Master John Bartholomew, Grandmaster Sam Shankland, International Master Krzysztof Duda, Grandmaster Simon Williams, World Champion Magnus Carlsen, and hundreds of other instructors. Get started now and join our growing community of over 100,000 chess enthusiasts at chessable.com. Chessable, take control of your journey towards chess mastery.
Welcome back, everyone. The game between David Navara and Liem Quang has already started. It seems to me like the players are in for a Ragozin debate. I mean, this is another Ragozin now with reverse colors. Let's take a look, and we are witnessing the very same Queen A4 check line. However, now after Knight C6, White has opted for the classical approach with E3. Lek Quang surprised David Navara with the sideline A3. David goes in a different direction, E3 castles, bishop D2. It's the old classical main line, DC4, bishop C4, bishop D6, queen C2, A6, A3, E5. Now I'm very curious because I'm playing this line myself. And as far as I know, actually, black is super safe here. What is David really having in mind? Yeah, this is a very forced line. F4, bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, knight g4. Everything has to be played very precisely. You can't give one tempo for white, because then it's already white stabilizes. Bishop d4, c5. Bishop takes e5, rook e8, castles, knight takes e3, takes, and basically there is this position with pawns on a2 and a7. That's also one theoretical position, and this very position with pawn a3 and pawn a6. There are some differences, minor differences, which can actually have a big impact. Now let's see what David has in mind. Rook e1 played.
Wow, Peter, heavy theory. Really heavy theory. Navara has 2 extra minutes, 2:17 from where he started with 15 minutes. I mean, this is incredible. And Liem as well, bashing the moves out very quickly.
Yeah, this is a very, very, very famous line, as I said. Yeah, also with pawns a7 and a2 pawns. But there are nuances, and I think that you can't really rely on your knowledge with one construction, because you have to be very, very specific in both move orders.
Well, it might be famous in Central Europe, but it's not very famous in West London, I can tell you.
Well, I do feel like I had a game against Moiseyenko in Isle of Man in the Grand Swiss 2019 like this, and I also had one game against Tari in Isle of Man in 2018. I mean, I already had, and I also had some blitz games where my opponent has also played this line from the white side. So I do feel like I have quite a lot of knowledge, but
well, clearly. But I mean, when I look at this, I just think black is struggling to equalize here. This looks very unpleasant, actually.
Yeah, we are getting the message from Tarias. Luckily, he has access to the databases, and it turns out that in both of my games, the move Queen F2 had been played. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
position.
Yeah. So Rook A1, it's kind of the new move, but to be honest, it's the most natural move, and yes, I'm pretty sure that it's the main move in my analyzing file, because this is the very first move that you have to consider.
But it feels like, you know, only 2 results are possible from this position. Either black equalizes, or white just has a beautiful initiative. I mean, black, I don't see how black can generate any winning chances here. He's either holds on or he slips, basically. It looks very unpleasant.
Yeah, well, I mean, but this is modern theory. You have to know your stuff all the way till the very end. And if you make a comfortable draw with black, then white looks stupid. If you don't know your stuff, you make some bad move and white wins, then everybody will tell you, wow, this was a wonderful idea from white side. Yeah, this is how modern chess works. Yeah. Everything depends finally on the exact knowledge of the players if you enter such forced lines. Rook E7 played, I think this is a good move. It's a classy move. This is, I think, also one of my lines in the preparation.
So it seems the key is whether this bishop on c8 can actually get into the game successfully. At the moment, it's not. There's also a check on d4, which could sometimes save black as well.
Yeah, it all depends. But of course, yeah, black is facing with the problem that his f7 and b7 pawns are vulnerable. White is also often threatening with queen b3, putting pressure on both of them. And then if we already know this idea, then we understand and we can appreciate why black's rook e7 move feels so much in the spirit, because you automatically guard the pawn.
Can white try f5 here?
Yes, that's also one of the main moves in, I think, in computer analysis with f5. But then already there are some lines like also you have to watch out for bishop takes f5, because there is then queen d4 check hitting the bishop as well. I mean, after trade on e1, but you have to be very, very precise. Yeah, that in which exact move order you do, you might not be able to do it here.
So this is the first time that Navara has actually stopped to think.
So let's take a look. What does it? But yeah, I'm for example, just to illustrate what we have been talking about: Queen d4 check, King h1. Now, if Black insists in something like takes, Bishop takes f5, it runs into Bishop takes f7 check. And King f7, Queen takes f5. This looks very, very nasty because King g8, Queen e6 might just win the game. King h8 runs into Queen 8 checkmate. And yeah, that's why you have to be very precise. After f5, you can't play for this Bishop takes f5 trick. It worked in my game against Moiseyenko after Queen f2 at some moment, but it's not working out here.
Okay, listen, we've got the other two of the other games have now kicked off. So let's just go over to Van Foreest against Dingley Ren. This line of the French, the Rubinstein variation, very solid choice for Ding.
Yeah, slightly surprising, to be honest. I mean, I really feel like it's connected with this cold shower that he encountered against Jordan in his beloved Italian, that he lost there, and he felt like, you know, he wants to change. We do know that, of course, Dingley was playing a lot of French defense in his youth, and I think I was asked like what I would suggest to young Dingley and how he could improve. My answer was stop playing the French. Yeah, that was my advice, and he stopped. He first switched to Caro-Kann after he became an incredible e4 e5 player, and ever since he's in the top 10. I just feel like, you know, with the French defense, you can't reach the very top. I mean, White will always have some pressure. At the same time, as a surprise, it's wonderful. I mean, nothing personal there, but I mean, it can be targeted. Takes, knight f6, bishop d3. I mean, this one from the French, however, I'm not so skeptical from the black side. This one I have tons of experience also from my youth. I was playing it from the white side, and always white is fighting for the initiative, because if you lose the initiative, then actually black with the pair of bishops might even get the better position. So white has to be very energetic. Takes, g6. Wow, this is interesting. Putting the bishop on g7.
And now castle's queenside. So at the moment, he's not worried about queen takes a2. I suppose after queen a2, there's bishop takes b7.
Yeah, that's crushing, I guess.
Should be a killer.
But hang on, there is queen a1 check.
King c2.
Then queen a4 check.
Oh.
No, this is not
problem. Okay, how do we do this? Actually,
yes.
even this is possible. Oh no, I was going to say knight e6, but
yeah, it's getting too much already.
Yeah,
probably.
A check on e4. No, okay. So we need to have okay. Now I'm curious. So what happens on queen a2?
But I mean, okay, you have also simply queen b5 check. You might also have knight b5. Maybe knight b5 is very simple and good. Settling knight c7 check.
There was yeah.
And then the queen protects everything. Yeah, for example, this, king b1, and we are winning because this all is protected by the queen.
Okay, I was just...
Wow, and bishop g7, knight c6 on the board. I told you it's everything depends on move pair move stuff. If black stabilizes, it's fine. If not, yeah, white goes for the initiative. Yeah, queen g5 check. And now the big question: what is the justification? Yeah, king b1. So black will castle, and where is the problem? Where is the problem? Yeah, castle played, h4. The problem is that, look at this, Jordan Van Foreest still blitzing out everything. So this is some kind of a preparation. Definitely it's preparation, and there must be some very big finesse after queen f6, because queen f6 looks like the natural move. What's wrong with queen f6?
I don't see anything wrong with queen f6 at all. The knight is going to have to retreat from c6. Let's say it comes back to d4. But then, well, black can even think about playing e5.
Exactly. Okay, black opted for queen c5. Yeah, that was the other move, but I'm not really understanding this. I mean,
Well,
why not queen f6?
Yeah, but e5 in any, I mean, the knight has to retreat now anyway, and e5 could come in this position too. I mean, this also looks fine for black.
He needs to retreat. Yeah, there is no trick. I mean, I just can't white play queen e3 now. Maybe I can play queen e3 now. I have this intermezzo. I feel like, you know, it's Jordan is not the type of guy who played knight c6 and wants to retreat. Queen e3. And after queen takes e3, we have this lovely little check. And after the king moves away, we take fe3. And we are setting to take on c8, invade with the rook on d7, b7, f7, everything is weak.
That's a dream scenario, yeah. Okay, well let's just have a look
on the board.
He played queen e3. So
on the board.
It could be that queen f6 was necessary. This is a nice trick, actually.
Yeah, this looks very. I mean, what I'm trying to understand that after queen f6, maybe knight a5 was the move that disturbed him. I mean, that why did he really put the queen on c5? But knight a5 doesn't really feel like a dangerous move. It's even taking the b7 pawn might be dangerous, opening up the b file. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, but after queen c5, queen e3, that's tricky. That's rather unpleasant for black.
Yeah, this is not really tricky.
In combination with h5 to loosen the king as well. Okay, so Ding is in a bit of trouble there. Let's go to Niemann against Carlsen, because Carlsen has played the Dutch, going back to a very old favorite from his youth. Of course, one of Magnus's first coaches was Simon Agderstein, who specialized in playing the Stonewall Dutch. So that's how Magnus ended up playing the Dutch for, well, he played it now and again, let's put it like that, and still does.
Yeah, so but he started with d4 e6, yeah, and after c4 going for f5. So he also offered a chance for white to go for French. Hans, of course, being a clear d4 player, refused this offer, and yeah, we are getting the Stonewall position immediately. Knight f3, bishop d6, castles, c5. Ah, okay, so Hans actually tries to use immediately that black haven't played the move c6 immediately. But it's also a committal move, because now the structure is fixed. Yeah, and Magnus goes knight c6, changes the course of the game immediately. a3, a5, knight c3, knight e4, and then he wants to get bishop to f6. This is an absolutely playable. I mean, I usually hate the Dutch. I don't believe that you can really play the Dutch, but this one already looks like a decent position. Takes. But this is not the question, of course, how to play. I don't have any Dutch feeling. I can't really. I mean, the logical move would be bishop e8, bishop h5. Yeah, that's kind of the most tempting stuff. And if white goes for b5, then probably the knight jumps to a5, heads to c4 as well.
Well, I remember Bronstein saying, of course, Bronstein was one of the great exponents of the Dutch defense. He said the Dutch is nothing if you can't advance your pawn to g5. He said in so many positions you need to advance your pawn to g5, and it slightly concerns me that white can play the bishop to f4. Magnus has gone for bishop e8. I was just going to say, bishop f4 is worrying, and then b5 and take control over e5. So actually, I think g5 was actually an option, but well, bishop e8, bouncing the bishop round, of course, is one of the traditional maneuvers and looks very sensible.
Yeah, your move bishop f4 looks also very sensible. The question is, can we then go g5 still? Do we have time to go g5?
I would say so, yeah. We have to trust in Bronstein.
Yeah, that's true. And it was also very nice that you you mentioned it, because I was somehow already like, I'm having the knight on c6. I felt like, I might be able to play according to different rules, but once you mentioned, I immediately felt that no, actually, this is really the soul of Black's position. Yeah, Black needs this. G5.
Yeah, and probably okay. So bishop f4, I think it's just too much, really. But yeah, tricky decision for white. Do you push the knight from c6? Do you play b5? But then, he's played it. But of course, the knight has the option to come into c4.
Yeah, well, it's very, very double-edged, yeah, because
maybe knight e5 anyway, just knight e5
immediately. Yeah,
let's try
knight e5. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, do I have some tricks? No, not really. Yeah, not really. I mean, I was wondering if I can somehow take on c5 or take first on e5, but always knight takes d5 is coming.
Yeah, well, that was my hope, that knight d5 was coming.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not the idea. So after knight e5, okay, I can just, no, knight d2 is played. What is knight d2? I mean, I find it very hard to understand this move.
Knight d2, I mean, if I were Black, I wouldn't be concerned about knight d2, because it doesn't feel as though there's, unless he wants to actually sacrifice on e4.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know that I'm not the guy who usually looks at sacrifices first, but after knight d2, I mean, knight takes f2 is, even for my eyes, the very, very first move that I look. Maybe it's a bad move.
True. Yeah.
But it's not a good move. But okay, we have to kind of show it that it looks scary, but probably still white can also play here the move e3, hitting the bishop, and after bishop c5, knight takes d5 works again. So that's the reason probably why white is not afraid of this. So yeah, as I said, it's very funny. People don't understand why I'm not sacrificing my pieces, because whenever I want to sacrifice, they don't work. That's why usually when I play a game, I like to make stabilizing moves. Yeah, just something like bishop g6 is also very tempting. I mean, just reinforcing the position. Bishop h5, bishop g6, one of those moves.
But that's, I mean, that's the sacrifice I'm now thinking for white, to take on e4 and then take on e4 again. So, well, let's have a very quick look after bishop h5. I just want to show this. So knight d2 takes e4. So f takes, and now knight takes e4. Just to play like this. And bishop takes e4.
Yeah, this is exactly the reason why I wanted to put the bishop on g6. Yeah, because
well, we've seen that Hans is not afraid to give up his pieces, and okay, it's a practical way for white to play. Bishop g6 is sensible.
Yeah, but okay, Magnus is taking his time. Let's maybe switch. Let's check out what is David doing, because according to the evaluation bar, he's doing very well. I mean, what happened? Rook e7, capture on e7, takes, bishop d5. Very, very natural. Putting pressure on the b7 pawn. Yeah, this is the problem.
But okay.
Bishop g4, h3. And black run into this queen e4. Wow, this is nasty, because bishop takes d5, queen e8, checkmate is a big problem. And suddenly with queen e4, white protected the rook and increased the pressure on e6 and increased the pressure on b7. I mean, black has played the move rook f8, which certainly means that he knows that he's in a big, big trouble.
I was just wondering why Liem provoked h3 first, but I think he didn't want the queen to be knocked back with g3 just a couple of moves ago, because on the surface of it, h3 feels like a very useful move for white. I was wondering why he couldn't go bishop e6 straight away.
Yeah, good question. Okay, probably anyway we would have seen rook e1. Yeah, sure. Doesn't really make so much of a difference, but I think that the big difference is that in general that he simply missed that after queen h4 there will be queen e4. That was the big miss, because he relied on this, as you said, that there should not be any g3. Yeah, compared to this line like bishop e6 immediately, rook e1, then after the move queen h4, it's very clear that you are worried of g3, and then the queen has to fall back, and then, okay, you are ruining the pawn structure. It will be bad position. And then he noticed this, that, okay, he can go bishop g4 and h3, bishop e6, rook e1, and now he has queen h4 with double attack. I mean, in fact, it's a triple attack, but one move parries everything and almost wins the game.
But rook f8, he's basically targeting the f4 pawn. So maybe he's just being very sneaky.
Yeah, but this is kind of a desperate way to survive. I mean, first of all, I don't know what happens if I just take on b7.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that could be a simple way to play.
I can just take on b7 and, okay, yes, I do have some weakness here, but I mean, I'm very, very well centralized. And you still have also this back rank issue for your king. Yeah, it's wow. I mean, definitely a great chance for David to bounce back. And let's take a look at the other game, which we haven't seen yet. It's Duda versus David Anton. Wow, this is like my dream Berlin defense, anti-Berlin, but actually it happened from classical Spanish, classical Ruy Lopez. But after bishop takes c6, d takes c6, this is exactly the same position with the pawn on a7. Coming from the anti-Berlins, I think that if you have a pawn on a6, it can only improve black's position. Definitely it can't be any worse. Knight c3, queen e7. Yeah, just very healthy play. And okay, let's not forget also that Duda won the first game. So actually, Duda is, I mean, David Anton is very happy of getting interesting play from the black side.
But you say this is a very pleasant position for black, but I mean, with the bishop on a6, it looks shut out of play to me. Okay, it can come king b8, bishop c8, it can bounce back, but this doesn't look so bad for white, does it? I mean, white's very solid.
And maybe you also have some b4 ideas, right?
Yeah.
No, I was a little bit surprised by all this h5. I just wanted very quick f6, knight e6, yeah, because I feel like if I get my knight to e6, I'm super happy. But yeah, the moment the e5 pawn is vulnerable, I mean, and okay, there are all these tactics of hitting something on d3 and then try to, but I don't want to touch that.
You don't want to discuss another sacrifice.
Yes, no. It's definitely not. But okay, so this is a strategical position. Let's jump back to the Magnus's game, because lot of things have happened. Another piece sacrificed by Hans. I mean, it happened after knight d2, knight takes d2. Magnus opted for knight d2, queen takes d2, knight c4, queen d3, c6, b6, e5. But okay, I mean, it was basically a provoked sacrifice, because if white is not sacrificing, then black is just taking over, strategically getting a better position. So knight d5 is practically the only move, I guess. So takes, knight e5, queen d5, check on the board. Wow, what is happening? I mean, first we have to understand white has two pawns and is trying to get a third one on b7, but there will be some rook d1 check. This will be important. For example, the first question probably is, can we play the move bishop f7? Yeah, that's a very big one. You have to take. I guess I'm taking.
Okay, bishop f4.
Yeah, probably bishop f4. I just want to highlight that, yeah, this taking, bishop takes b7 feels wrong, because this check at least looks good. I don't know exactly where does it lead, but because white has dangerous pawns.
Yeah, even that's not so clear, actually.
Yeah, not clear at all. Not clear at all. So maybe, yeah, Magnus is taking his time after queen takes d5, because he can also first trade on d5. No, he goes for yeah, he takes on d5 and goes rook f7. Yeah, wow, very classy. That's of course the refutation, because you have to protect the b7 pawn, and this structure is fixed. So if white gives up his bishop, and gets the c6 square, then this is an incredible blockade.
Okay, so I'm not going to take. So I'll play bishop f4.
Bishop f4.
Let's
okay, now let's just play bishop c6.
Okay, that's a party killer.
Well, I think the reason why Magnus is quite pleased with himself, I somehow felt like after rook f7 he was very, very happy.
Yeah, bishop c6 is just super blockade. Yeah, okay. That takes a lot of the jeopardy out of the position, doesn't it? It looks very, very nice for black now.
Yeah, and definitely this had been foreseen by Magnus because he provoked this piece sacrifice, which in fact looked kind of tempting. We have to just, now we have a little time to come back to this position, that why we feel like white needed to sacrifice, because of course black is threatening e5, e4, strategically winning the position. Yeah, for example, something like e3, e4 is absolute no-go for white. Black is coming bishop h5 and has everything, all white's pieces are terrible. And the other move, d takes e5, would simply spoil the pawn structure. Black has all kinds of possible, probably knight takes e5, also possible because queen f5, bishop g6 also looks like a killer. And black has incredible coordination and piece is completely dominating. So white had to sacrifice on d5, but this brilliant defense, rook f7, brilliant resource, is a party killer, as you said. Yeah, now black has all the fun.
Yeah, and he's played bishop b2, but actually I think it should be met by the same move, bishop c6. I don't think it makes any difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then will be a very tough choice for white, because even in some sense, I don't know if I prefer to take the rook and suffer in that position. Okay, if I have nothing better, yes, but I wanted to just mention that, for example, takes, bishop c6, bc6. I might have the feeling that maybe here I have more practical chances, because at least I have this great b6 pawn. I might be able to push somehow f4, rook d6. Of course,
I think he has to do this and then try to hit c6.
Yeah, but it comes at the cost that after f4, the c5 pawn will be very vulnerable with check.
Yeah, but I think he has to do this.
Yeah, but how do we do it? So f4, probably the bishop falls back to f6.
Well, I mean, rook d6 straight away. What's happening?
Yeah, rook d6 and then maybe just rook c8, I thought.
Then b7?
Yeah. b7 and then rook b8, and then I will take on b7. I mean, we trade these pawns.
Yeah.
Should be technically winning, but Magnus doesn't want any of it. He sidestepped with his king to f8. Maybe he was afraid of something like this, that he just doesn't want it. He doesn't want it.
Yeah. So long as he keeps the blockade on c6, then he should be doing well, should be winning, but still, still some technical issues. Let's bounce over to Navara against Liem, because it's interesting. In fact, Navara chose to force an exchange of queens in the position we were examining after rook f8. So just playing very technically.
Yeah, of course, if it works, it's a very, very tempting idea, because it forces the queen trade, takes, b7 pawn is still hanging. After bishop c8, white probably just goes rook c1 and then invades with rook c7, and okay, it's just matter of time till you win something. So Lek Quang Liem goes bishop d7, bishop b7, rook b8 tries to get active, takes rook b2, rook e7, bishop c6, rook c7, forcing the bishop back to 8 because of rook c8 checkmate idea. So bishop e8, and now it's white to move. I mean, it feels like some a4 and then bishop b5, rook c8 could be like a decisive idea. But after a4, you still have king f8. It's probably the only move, because now white is threatening rook c8 followed by bishop b5. But after king f8, rook c8, then black is in time to unpin with king e7. That's the key. Okay, so this case then there is no immediate win for white, at least not so trivially. Because okay, if white is not winning on the spot in the next couple of moves, yeah, rook b7 played. This is
oh, that's clever. So if rook a2, then he goes rook b8, and obviously bishop b5 is possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay. So if this forces an exchange of rooks, then well, it just becomes technical again, and you know, white is in complete control. That looks like a very classy move to me.
Yeah, I mean, basically it seals the game. Yeah, rook b7, because yeah, you have to take on b7, and there are some technical issues because the bishop on e8 stops a4, and black will try to come with the king very quickly. The pawn on f5 is a little bit compromised, and black can hope for eventually trying to change everything and then hope for this wrong corner h pawn, but I don't see all these things work out. Yeah, f6.
F6 I like a lot. Yeah, so and then he doesn't need to worry about the pawns being fixed. And
yeah, he plays bishop c2, then he gets a4, a5 in, and there is this vulnerable h pawn, so black's king cannot go towards the queen side, because then white will be also able to go for this pawn. I mean, he will combine all these ideas.
Looks like excellent technique from David Navara. Should be winning. Let's go to Jordan van Foreest against Ding Liren, because Jordan was better in the endgame, but Ding is fighting.
Yeah, probably white is still better. Now black has regained the pawn, but white has this systematic way of getting the rook, probably, for example, to c2, king a2, and if he starts marching his pawns, then it feels like these two pawns should be faster than black, because black doesn't have connected passed pawns.
No passed pawns. So yeah, once these pawns start rolling, but it depends if that bishop on f6 can reach a decent diagonal. If it can reach the g1 a7 diagonal, then it might be possible to slow up those pawns.
Yeah. Also, like after king a2, you have a move like bishop e7. Hitting on a3, and then it won't be so easy, because b5 might be able to sacrifice the okay, he goes rook a5. Yeah, he wants to target the e3 pawn, just as you mentioned. Yeah, he wants something like this.
Yeah,
and then defend back.
Yeah, it's not so simple, is it, at all?
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I mean, it feels like you should just close your eyes and push. Yeah, king a2. In fact, bishop e7 is played anyway. And he sidestepped from this b4 idea as well. Okay, anyway, b4 was not a threat, but yeah, the pawns don't move, and okay, black will definitely make some useful moves on the king side, and potentially, yeah, this e3 pawn is weak as well. But how do you move? Yeah, if white gets b4, everything is fine, but you can't get going.
Okay, I think we can leave that one for the time being. Let's go to Niemann against Carlsen. So, well, it looks like Magnus is, yeah, he stabilized things, and now he can attack those queenside pawns.
He stabilized, but okay.
C6. Oh no, yeah, C6 is possible. Oh no,
C6
sorry,
bishop takes
the knight comes
C6
to D7. Yeah, C6 king takes, pawn takes, knight D7.
Yeah, but also simply bishop takes C6 also works.
Yeah, no, I forgot about the knight coming back.
Yeah.
I got all excited. All right, so
yeah, of course, it's beautiful. I mean, let's just show that, yeah, otherwise the pawn would queen, but yeah, black has knight D7, and exactly the same resource black has after capturing this rook here. Still knight D7 protects. But it means that if black definitely wants to go bishop c6 and then knight d7, targeting the c5 pawn, and for the moment I don't see how white will have any tactical idea fighting against this.
Okay, so I mean, it looks like Magnus is just winning that position actually.
Yeah, it looks like, but maybe white can just come back and stay passive. Yeah, I mean, if he can hang on to his c5 pawn, I mean, the most ridiculous way, like, okay, just play a move like f3, and after bishop c6, come back with the rook. I don't know. I just randomly, yeah, f3, bishop c6, on the board, and then after knight d7, you just protect it. I don't know. I could have rook on c3, rook on c1. Maybe I prefer
king e6.
Yeah, but let me put it on c3 because I prefer it on c3.
Okay. So now king e6.
King e6 and okay, rook d2, knight d7 on the board. Rook c2 on the board. Yeah, king e6 will be played.
And come to d5 and take the pawn.
Yeah. That was the problem. But I felt like maybe with rook on c3 after king d5 I had rook e3 and trying to go rook e7. That's why I wanted to get that rook on c3.
And that's what we have on the board. Yes, that would have created some difficulties. Yeah, no, well maybe it wasn't so clear. Because
after king e6 I would have had rook e3 check, and then I'm forcing you back somehow. This tiny little difference makes a huge impact, because knight e6, this was missed by Hans. Okay, this explains, because he felt like black is forced to go maybe g6 protecting the pawn, and then with king g5 he would have gotten excellent counter chances, king h6, but knight e6 check, king e3, and not this one really feels like it should be technically winning.
Yeah, and he can still target that pawn on b6. The knight spins round. Well, but Hans is going to make it as difficult as possible. He's just gaining some space on the king side with his pawns. This time Magnus has a time advantage. He has 6 minutes compared to Hans, who is just under 3 minutes. I mean, apparently David Anton is now completely lost.
Yeah, I just had a look, and you remember I told you about some sacrifice on d3. Well, in fact, there was a sacrifice of queen, or he lost his queen, and Duda is then leading. Yeah, and this is it. It's resignable.
Completely resignable. He's complete. How did he lose the queen? What happened?
Yeah, so David Anton resigns.
He must have fallen for some.
Knight c4, queen b4.
Oh, knight takes a5, and the queen is trapped. Queen a5, b4. Oh,
brilliant.
Well, it's just a horrible blunder, isn't it? It's just
because of course black could have just taken on c4, for example, and okay, the game is more or less equal. I guess it's more or less equal, but yeah, after queen b4, knight takes a5, but it's so easy to miss this. Queen a5, b4 traps the queen. Unbelievable construction. Oof. I mean, what a cold shower. Basically, I feel like this move just seals the match, because it's not 2-0, and how to recover from the shock. Yeah, Duda on fire. All right, so back to Magnus's game. Still not easy, still not easy, but this knight on e6 is incredible monster, because it protects the pawn on g7, stops any kind of g5. However, without the knight, how does black target the b6 weakness?
Yeah, the rook can sweep from side to side, so it's not completely over, is it?
No, not at all, not at all. Okay, so Magnus is still working hard. What is the update on Navara's game? Yeah, we are seeing exactly the idea that we mentioned, that white is coming for the h6 pawn, and that's it. Now black can capture on a4, but king h5 takes, and then the h pawn decides the game.
Yeah, fantastic technique from David Navara. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's basically gone, and then we have this Jordan Fan Foreest Dingley and endgame, and still the pawns haven't moved. I mean, white is kind of still stuck.
Do you know what? Actually, Jordan has to be careful. He could actually end up worse here very easily.
Now black's pawns are coming. Yeah.
And once the bishop reaches, gets the e3 pawn, then it of course can defend against the advance of white's pawns, but also, it's a beautiful position.
Ricky. B4. Okay, now white finally pushed rook c3, and then bishop d3 is the ambitious move. Bishop d3. Rook c3 should be met by bishop d3.
Bishop g5.
Then I always have rook e4, so I can go king b2. I can go king b2, kicking this rook back. Yeah, so you go back somewhere.
Yeah.
You are still hitting this pawn, and you want f5. You want f5, yeah. Not so easy. Yeah, rook c3 on the board. Liem Quang, by the way, has resigned, so it's 1-1 there.
Do you know what, that game is almost like it's the perfect technical game. Obviously, brilliant opening preparation from David Navara, and then his technique was just clinical, exchanging off queens at the right moment and going for this endgame, which he played perfectly, actually.
Yeah,
really perfect game.
It was wonderful. I mean, this is a typical line actually that I think in a classical game it's not a problem, because if black feels uncomfortable, thinks for 20 minutes and finds the correct precise defense. But in rapid play, it's so annoying if your opponent is blitzing and you can't remember your analysis and you are under some pressure. Magnus goes knight f6. Wow, it looks like it should be winning now for Magnus.
Yeah, he's being very, very careful, of course. So king f3, then bishop c6, so push the king somewhere.
Yeah, and also how do we protect this g4 pawn? Yeah.
Well, I think king f3.
Yeah, king f3, but it's not I mean, bishop c6, we are losing the b6 pawn then.
Yeah, sure, but I think he wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, and then some g5. Yeah,
he wanted to go for g5, exactly. So I think g5 is still a little bit tricky.
Yeah. King f3 on the board. 1 minute 29 for Hans Niemann. Magnus has more than 4.5 minutes. I mean, it should be enough. And the other game, is super sharp. Yeah, we don't know exactly. Yeah, but okay, let's stick with this. Bishop c6 check. On the board, king e3. Yeah, we are seeing this line, king f2. I'm assuming king f2. Okay, yeah, I don't think that king d2 is such a, then we are stepping into knight c4 check. I mean, king f2 and then knight b6, g5. There is the one line that afterwards, for example, this, if you are playing knight d5, takes rook g6, then you have a move like knight f6, because rook h6 runs into knight g4 check. But I'm not exactly sure that is this so easily winning if we trade these pawns. Probably should be winning, but
should be winning because black has such good control in the center.
Yeah. I also have the king f2 on the board.
But I'm wondering if Magnus wants to have some kind of super finesse and play
king f4,
like king f4, exactly. Yeah,
it's on the board. Yeah, king f4, that was the other move, but I wasn't so sure that this is, for example, rook f3 check, king takes g4, rook f7, and after king h5, rook g7, I'm cutting the king. Who benefits from this?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I get some. Okay, of course you take on b6, and if you reshuffle you should be winning, but maybe I can create some counterplay. I mean, something like this, and if I get to push e4, it's a game.
But knight f6?
Knight f6, yeah, that's a problem. Okay, king e5, I keep on harassing this knight.
Okay, well, I suppose I blockade with knight e4 and then hope that something I can crawl down the board with the h pawn.
Yeah, and this is what we're gonna see. Yeah, rook f3 check, of course, played, king takes g4. Yeah, now both rook f7, rook g3 leads to the same position. Yeah, Magnus goes for it. He believes that this is winning. All right, okay, but yeah, king g3, same idea. Yeah, white after knight d5, now he can push e4 immediately. Otherwise, he wants to go king f4. Why is this so simple? Or it's maybe not simple, it's just winning.
well, maybe just knight c4 here and just put the knight on d6 to, again, just blockade on e4. So just knight c4.
Yeah, here knights. Actually, that was the reason why I wanted to go towards e3, d4. but probably you could have also done the same. Yeah.
Yeah, just knight d6.
Knight
It looks very so. Oh yeah, this has happened. I mean, it still looks like Magnus has control actually.
By the way, just a very, very quick update. What you mentioned that White needs to be careful actually is happening. White is in the verge of collapse in the game between Jordan and Dingley. Black is already pawn up and dominating, still has some, of course, problem because of the pin, but it might be winning. But we will be coming back to the Magnus's game. Rook e7, knight e4. Yeah, that's a problem. So White needs to wait with something like rook e6. The rook e5 check. I thought like, let's lock this king with rook e6. But maybe it would have been anyway Zugzwang. Yeah, knight g5. Rook e6, knight g5. So it does not matter at all. Yeah, and king g6. Yeah, now it's
okay. Now it really is clear.
Yeah, if this is not winning, then nothing. Yeah, and by the way, the rook is almost trapped. Yeah, now it's finished.
Really nice that the bishop, of course, on c6 is anchored by the pawn on b7. So, one does not want to push that b pawn. Not only when everything is absolutely clear, when everything is completely stable, then it's time to push the b pawn. But in the meantime, it is just such a rock, and that just holds Black's position together.
Yeah, this is my cemento. Yeah, when I use
cemento.
When I use cemento, this is exactly. I mean, this construction is just brutally strong.
Yeah, Betonschach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now knight e6 check. Okay, Magnus is enjoying his position. King e3, bishop e8, lovely bishop covering the h5 square. Now he will push b5, he will push h5, and he will just win this easily. And the knight is still so mobile. Yeah, h5. e4, finally. Yeah, this is also, which move is it? It's move something like, I don't know, 60 something. When finally White played the move e2, e4. Yeah, he kept it for the last second.
Best by test. He got it wrong though. He didn't play it at the right moment. It's all in the timing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, this is not just lost. And what do we have in the other game? It also feels like it should be almost winning for. I mean, one more move f4, and then we will definitely know that it's winning. So White needs desperate. Yeah, b6. Black gives up the bishop, goes f4. Still very, very dangerous for White. ef, ef. 40 seconds for Jordan. 40 seconds. I mean, he needs to find the great defense, because now fc check might just win the game. So he needs to understand how to coordinate his forces. Very tricky with little time on the clock. Rook g6, a good move. Very good move, because it hits the g4 pawn, so Black's king will not be able to move. Yeah, rook e7 check. King d2. And this is what I was saying, yeah, that now Black is not in time to go king f2 or king g2. The g4 pawn is hanging.
Yeah, and bishop c8 can come as well.
Yeah, after king f4, bishop c8 comes just in time to hit the pawn. So wow, Jordan finally escapes. Yeah, but first it was of course Dingley then who had to be super careful, and he was. I think he played a brilliant game how he was defending this position.
But maybe he could have had more from this actually by the end.
Yeah, by the end, definitely. It felt like, but there was this spin, there was some kind of a problem. But yeah, now of course, it's just a dead draw after f2. White can even play bishop e2. Yeah, bishop e2 on the board. Rook e4 and... Okay, he wants to go rook f4, but rook f4 can always be met by bishop f1. It looks absolutely fine. Okay, bishop g4, very elegant. Wow, bishop takes g4, super beautiful. I mean, f1 queen runs into bishop e2 check. winning the queen. And after rook takes g4, rook g4, king g4, king e2, king g3, king f1 reaches safe haven, king f3, stalemate. Wow, beautiful end to the game.
My favorite rule in chess, stalemate.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I do. I really, seriously, I actually really like it because, you know, there are so many beautiful endgame studies where stalemate is the saving motif. And actually, it's actually a very, very common idea in endgames, just generally. I looked into this a few years ago, and there are some actually beautiful examples in normal games where stalemate is a wonderful defense. Anyway, that's for another time. H2 from
yes, just to show, the game ended like this, so it's a draw, and all eyes on Magnus. H2, rook h3, bishop takes e4 happened. That was the line. Just to show that king e4 runs into knight g5 fork. That was the problem. So rook takes h2 happened, and now the bishop moves back, and this should be just a matter of time. It requires some technique, it requires some moves, but I think the win is kind of basic and automatic. Knight d8.
That's nice. Push the king away, keep the pieces all together.
Yeah, and then knight e6 check. I thought that Magnus wants to go bishop e6, knight c6, but okay, it doesn't matter. It's the same. Everything works together. Finally, white will have to give up his rook against the pawn, and then there is a question. All right, let's ask. Do you think that Hans would continue with king against knight bishop, or would he resign? How would you react?
No, surely not. He won't play on. I think that's a bit much. To play on, to ask Magnus to demonstrate bishop and knight against king that's too much.
Yeah, I also feel so. I mean, especially because there is increment. Yeah, you imagine if there would no increment, then we would even not be asking the question. It would be natural that you are hoping that the opponent with 20 seconds on the clock would not be able to checkmate you. But actually, with pre-moves and knowing how good Magnus is in pre-move, I had the privilege of commenting some of his blitz games, and I have seen him. I mean, he's master in all these kind of things. I feel like he can play 100 moves in 1 second if he knows that he is in control.
Do you know what? I actually once saw this in a proper classical game. This was there was international matches. It's called in Reykjavik in 1990. So there was a team from the Soviet Union, team from the United States, a team from England, and a team from the Nordic countries. So classical games, and but they played to a finish. I think I can't remember the exact time control, but Vaganyan ended up with bishop, and he had to checkmate with bishop and knight against the king. And I can't remember who his opponent was, but his opponent insisted, because they weren't playing with an increment. And Vaganyan, obviously, he didn't know the kind of the book technique, and he had to work it out at the board. And he went round. Vaganyan messed up a few times, and they went round in circles, and you could see him getting kind of rattled because he was down to like his final, 2 or 3 minutes. And eventually he did it, but it was kind of amusing to see, because Vaganyan, I get the impression that he's a very natural player. He's not someone who spends a lot of time, studying in a very formal sense. And of course, he found the way eventually, but it was kind of amusing to see him, on having to work it out at the board. I can't remember who his opponent was, but anyway, he did it. But when you're playing without an increment, then
yeah, it's tricky. Actually, there was a tournament. I had it. It was a rapid tournament. I think it was in Moscow in '95. It was one of these PCA rapid qualifiers, and I played in the qualification in '95. I was 15 years old, and I had it against Aseyev, and I had it against Harlov. And both times with the king, but the point was the reason why I was playing because their flags were like about to fall. And actually one game I survived, and the other games, in the other game I got checkmated. But I survived, of course, due to the clock situation.
Right. Yeah.
Beastly check. Yeah, Hans Niemann is down to 10 seconds on the clock. I mean, he will have to give up the rook. Beastly check is coming. Knight a4 is to follow. Or knight c4.
Knight c4 is a very clean move. Just covering everything. Oh, okay. King b4.
Yeah, first.
Whatever.
Yeah. By the way, actually, you already have liftoff in the third games because David Anton and Jan-Krzysztof Duda has already started. We know that David Anton needs to bounce back because with a draw the match is over. Then Duda goes through. And also Liem Quang, David Navara has started. But we definitely stay with this game, and we are not missing out anything big there yet. So king a3, rook h3, trying to pin. But okay, this is typical. I mean, black will go knight a4, king a2, and then b2. That's it. Now the question is, do you play king a2 immediately, or do you give the chance for white to go knight a4, king b1? I mean, it doesn't matter at all. I mean, it's completely winning anyway, but that's the reason why Magnus is at least a little bit taking his time. Yeah. Okay, it's just completely winning. I'm also keeping an eye on David Anton. King a2. Yeah, king a2. Yeah, just not to give this chance of going king b1. Yeah, now Magnus gonna go king a1 himself. Next is knight a4 and then b2, forcing the knight bishop versus king. And then the big question appears.
Nah, he'll give up.
You think so? I don't know. I mean, new generation, and you heard me. Okay, I was playing for the clock situation, but I was also fighting there with the bear king.
Yeah, but it's different.
It's different. I mean, yeah, it's completely.
Magnus is 5 minutes. You know, even without an increment. I mean, that's kind of easy.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like my opponent's flag is hanging like they don't have more than 20 seconds. That was my kind of impression.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's a completely different.
And story. I was also banging on the clock, you know, just so that maybe it fell faster. Yeah, it was the other way.
Peter, I'm shocked. I'm shocked when you say that.
Well, as a young kid, okay, you are trying to survive. I mean, of course, you have to use all kinds of tricks. Yeah, later I became much more of a gentleman, but back then it was different.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I do remember Vaganyan going around in circles and kind of not knowing the techniques. Poor guy. Of course, he got there.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when as a kid I learned, I mean, the double view was kind of natural. Yeah, this bishop h7, knight e5, knight d7, but then that when black's king is about to get to, I mean, whoever king gets to c7, yeah, then you just move back with the bishop to this. Yeah, he designs. This is sportsmanship. This is absolutely correct because there is just no reason to continue this.
Okay, so just a quick recap. So we've had 2 games played in all the matches. Liem against Navara, that's 1 game all. Duda is 2-0 up on Anton. So Anton in a must-win situation. Ding leading by 1.5-1/2 and Carlsen leading by 1.5-1/2 as well. So we've got action already in 2 of the games. David Anton against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. No break for us, Peter. We're going to
no break at all, and I don't mind at all. It's non-stop action. But the problem is that David Anton has a big problem. He needs to win. He's trailing with 2 points, and he tried. Let's go back and let's just explain that. Yeah, this is a very, very original way of trying to fight without big theory. But however, nowadays, as in modern chess, every sideline, every setup has already its own big theory. And Duda is kind of an expert. He's playing a line which is super, super solid. This exact move order, because if you mess things up, you might end up with an isolated pawn. It will be very, very nice for white. But the problem is that you are not in time. After d takes c5, this queen a5 is the point, hitting immediately on the knight on c3. And after rook c1, black is not collecting the c5 pawn, because again, then it would give white the chance to castle and stabilize, but puts the pressure with bishop f6, forces white to go knight d4 when black takes on c5. Now already black is threatening to take on d4, and you will not, for example, after castles, black can just take on d4 takes, and now the knight can move wherever, it's no problem. So of course white now has to take on c6, and after b takes c6, he finally castles. And one could say that, yes, okay, this is fine. Give me one more move, queen c2, and yes, then it's fine. White will have lovely position. But it's black to move, and he jumps back immediately with knight to e4, putting again pressure on the knight on c3. And what can you do? Basically, your only move is queen c2 or knight takes d6. I mean, knight takes e4. There was one game, I think, Vasily Graf Dominguez, it was maybe the very, very first game in this line. Okay, David Anton goes queen e1. It does not change anything, because after knight takes c3, we will get the same position like after queen c2. Bishop takes c3, bishop takes, queen takes, and black can take on a2. That's the key move that you can take. White actually captures on c6, and black develops with the bishop to e6, and it's a very drawish position. However, white actually has won some games with this line, so it's not like you just have to know this and that's it. You still have to show some precision, but it seems like Duda, I think, should know everything till the very end.
And what happens here on bishop d3?
Here after queen a2, bishop d3.
Do you just play rook b8, do you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that somebody said, yeah, queen takes c6, bishop e6 is the Tabia position, and or first maybe rook c2 is included. No matter what, it leads to this very, very drawish position. Actually, it happened in a very important game, Vincent Keimer against Daniele Vocaturo in Reykjavik European Championship in the very last round. And Vincent managed to win this game with the white pieces and got second. He almost won the European Championship thanks to this victory. So it's by no means... so yes, of course, yeah, rook c2, queen a3, rook a1, queen goes back, and then queen c6, bishop e6. That's how we get, yeah, this, we're gonna see this, yeah. This is what they are doing. Rook a1, queen e7.
But that's really hard work to win this position. Really hard work.
Yeah, I do remember that I commented one game. I think it was Wesley So was involved. Was it also against Duda? And I was saying that because Wesley was in a must-win situation from white, and I was saying like, oh no, there are no chances. This is very drawish, and he managed to convert it. But maybe we can get a confirmation. Whom did he beat? Was it against Duda? Yes, so Duda from Opera Euro Rapid 2021, exactly. So Duda is already a big specialist. I don't think that he will fail again. Yeah, so this already happened in Duda's game against Wesley So. Then he actually lost it because I believe back then he just thought like this is a dead draw and he was not paying any attention, yeah? But after that game, he definitely learned his lesson that he still needs to be precise and will hold. All right, so let's move to the other game. We have seen the players have exchanged punches. It's 1-1 Lek Quang against David Navara. And again, we see something of a very, very sharp position and white having some initiative. I mean,
I would be a little bit concerned about that H-file.
Definitely. I mean, okay, let's take a look what happened. So it's anti-Grunfeld. It's anti-Grunfeld with H4. Yeah, this actually has a very good reputation from white, you know, this H4 line. I'm a little bit surprised why David went for this, because this is kind of in current theory, it's considered to be very, very risky for black. I mean, we see that this pawn on h5 poses a lot of problem. It's not like the typical Grünfeld position. Yeah, black developed his bishop. It's wonderful. It's very nice. The bishop is on c6. If white's pawn would be on h2, then we would be saying that black has solved all his problems. He has nothing to worry about. But with this pawn on h5, things are completely different. White activates the queen. This is also one of these big problems, that the queen gets activated and it shuffles to all the way to h4.
I love the directness of this. You know, this is great.
Okay, finally, at least with knight on f6, bishop g7, black is trying to hold, but white is in no rush. d3, queen a5, bishop d2, rook f8, and this is the current position.
It would be a pity if white actually had to castle here. It would be nice to actually maintain the rook on h1. But castling is still a decent move. I mean, the queen is still very strong on h4. But yeah, I guess the first move we look at is king f1 here.
Yeah, king f1 also somewhere to include c4, but of course only king f1 played. It's the professional move. Very nice. Now maybe also the knight will move, yeah?
Yeah.
Now that the bishop is protected. And black's problem is, where is the counterplay? Yeah, where is the counterplay?
But yeah, I mean, the obvious strategy is pawn to c4. Then we can move the bishop to h6 and just get on with all the usual attack. Okay, that preempts it. Queen a4, hoping to exchange queens. Even exchanging queens isn't bad for white. I mean, one could exchange and play knight e5, but okay, it wouldn't be my first thought. I would want to somehow continue attacking. Yeah, c4 played.
Yeah, c4, and okay, this is looking wonderful, because bishop
on
h6
with the job. On with the job. Bishop h6
is like the typical dragon checkmate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
How
without giving up any pieces.
How to defend against this? I don't see a defense, and I also can't really imagine a defense. That's the biggest problem I feel. That I just don't have faith. Yeah, knight h5, but this is only temporary. I mean, it had to be played. Maybe white just moves the rook all the way to e1. Yeah,
exactly. Rook e1, absolutely super solid. And we can just go back to playing g4, and then bishop h6, and nothing changed actually. Super solid.
Exactly. Just to illustrate, so after rook e1, if for example black collects the pawn, white goes g4, and after knight f6, bishop h6, and this is then the typical bishop h8, bishop f8 checkmate idea. No way of defending on the h file.
Yeah, this takes me back to my junior days in London, when everyone played the dragon, and it was, you know, you could see the top 10 boards in a junior tournament, and a dragon. There's rook takes c3, and on every board, and you know, some attack on the h file on every board. You know, which it was just like you could flip a coin who was actually going to checkmate first.
Yeah, those dragon positions were very, very exciting always, and especially before the computer era. Yeah, because then you never knew exactly, is it 0-0, is it checkmate, or what is it, or black is winning. It was always super fun. And also the name, yeah, this dragon, I remember as a kid also, I got very, very excited, like, okay, what is this dragon stuff?
Yeah, but it's funny how a name that can make an opening. It really can. It's all in the branding, it's all in the marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so okay, what happened there? Because suddenly we are talking about dragon and Darcy Carlsbad structure, you know, it did not fit together. Incredible. But yeah, when we are talking about the dragon, then of course this position has to be in front of our eyes. Knight h5. And okay, I could even imagine that Leko Liam is tempted to calculate a little bit g4, but there is just no reason to do that. Why to give up that rook and then even give chance for black to give a queen d1 check? No way. Just put this rook on e1. Hang on. But let's calculate. Rook e1, queen takes a2.
Oh, bishop f3 you want.
Exactly. I was careless. I was like, we were dreaming about checkmate, but let's just highlight it after g4. Black actually does have this bishop takes f3. By the way, rook e1 on the board. Bishop f3, queen takes d2. G takes h5, and this is suddenly answered by g5, and black is laughing. Finally, black is alive.
Well, black is alive, but even, I mean, white is certainly not obliged to go in for this. Even this is quite possibly good for white. But listen, let's go back because we don't need to rush it.
Of course, yeah.
So why don't we just play
bishop e3? Bishop e3.
Yeah, super solid.
Let's just follow Leko Liam. He knows what he's doing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, it's on the board. I see.
Yeah, it's on the board. He's super impressive, and okay. But to be honest, this chance came too easily. I mean, he didn't really do anything special. Yeah, he just punishes David's handling of this anti-Grunfeld, because queen b3, queen c4, queen h4. I think if we interview Leko Liam after the game, he will tell you that, but this is typical. This is just very natural. And after I had to work out how to get the most of it, but it's already a very, very big advantage. Hang on, look at this. This is what I've been talking about. Yeah, Jan-Krzysztof Duda knows his stuff, makes the draw, seals the match, and he's in the semifinal.
Okay, let's just a quick recap to see how we got there.
Yeah, well, it happened exactly like it had to happen. Bishop e6, queen c7, queen b4, queen c3, rook fb8. Yeah, I mean, black has to be precise, but if he's precise, and he was precise, he just liquidates everything. And because of the back rank, white is not able to collect the pawn. Black wins this big tempo, and after h3, now rook b4, rook a7, rook takes b3, seals the game, and our first semi-finalist, Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Congratulations.
So there we have one of the favorites going through. What did I tell you, Peter?
Yes, you told me. You told me, and I feel like, that was the turning point. That's when it was decided that poor David Anton will have no chances. I mean, you just told with so much conviction. Yeah, you were just so sure of yourself.
Okay, let's switch to that Carlsbad. Let's go to Ding Liren. Do you know what? I have a feeling that Ding, he has played this system against the Queen's Gambit, which is absolutely not critical. But I think he looks at Jordan and thinks, well, look, I'm one game up. I should play something that is just absolutely rock solid. Why risk anything? And, maybe get the merest slight advantage. But if this is a draw, it's not a big deal. Just seems like very pragmatic play from Ding.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be lured into some kind of a provocation, some double H position. Let's take a look which move order, because of course Carlsbad can happen from so many different move orders, but it was from the Meran. And here of course, Ding Liren is a very principled player, which means that he goes bishop g5, but this is not the tournament situation, not the match standing that requires bishop g5, and he opted for cd5, ed5, bishop g5, bishop e7, queen c2, a super solid line.
We should say that this line, as white, does not have a fantastic reputation. I mean, this is well known that black equalizes pretty easily.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be talking about this when we have these fireworks in Leko Liam, David Navara. Of course, David is David. He always fights. He always tries to create counter chances, and he will not stay put. After the move bishop e3, he immediately grabs the chance to create counterplay with e5, g4, e4, creating some practical problems.
Yes.
This is a fight.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to look at the most basic way to play. I just want to hack through. So if I take on h5, let's just play the most obvious way first. And if this doesn't work, we'll retrace our steps. Okay, so bishop takes, yeah.
Yes, so takes and takes, yeah.
Right, pressure still on black.
All right, but I have queen c2. I have queen c2, my friend.
Ah, then you want to check on recapture on g6 with the queen.
Exactly.
Oh, sneaky, sneaky.
And then we are already in the business. But yeah,
okay.
Liam goes knight g5.
All right, but that's just shows. Okay, so the obvious move didn't work, but he's found knight g5.
Yeah, but this is, I think, very, very useful that we are basically also showing that how one should think. Yeah, that you reach this position. Definitely first, yeah, there are two candidates moves. One is gh5, another one is knight g5. Before getting involved with knight g5, you should check first the more forcing line. And then you calculate and it looks like, well, I might get a free attack. And then you look for chances for your opponent. You find queen c2 and then you immediately feel like, yes, okay, this gives him chance to survive. No, we're not going to go along this line. But in order to understand it, you have to calculate till the end.
Yeah.
And then all the more you appreciate the lines of knight g5 that, of course, I'm not weakening anything.
Peter, can we just show that position after queen c2 and exactly what happens when white takes on g6? Because the whole point is it's check, and then the queen has time to recapture on g6, and black is, well, pretty safe actually, I think.
Yes.
I think we're going to bounce to an interview with Jan-Krzysztof Duda, who has qualified for the semi-final.
I think I have played like very great chess today. I just didn't commit too much errors and just grabbed my chances. And I think that succeeded, actually.
Yeah. Now, in the first game, I mean, you still had so much time left on the clock. Also, in this final game, you played super fast. Have you had some sort of tactics when it comes to time and your clock today?
Not really. Yeah, it just happened, that I didn't have much opening difficulties, I think, in both of my games with black pieces. I mean, in the last one, I just more or less knew Fiori till the very end. I mean, sort of. I had played this variation before. And I think it just straight equalizer for black. So, yeah, probably on his place, I would have also played this system because it's kind of interesting and pretty good actually to try to win the game, but yeah, I just had a solution coming for this, and yeah, and earlier, I mean, okay, the first game was just kind of level. I mean, I played the Barin, and okay, I was slightly worse, of course, with this not so great knight on c6, but I'm not sure it was anything serious, and then just played one too aggressive move, I think, and got his rook almost trapped in the middle of the center. So, and yeah, and I just converted it pretty smoothly, I think. I mean, I could have played better at times, but in general, I'm pretty satisfied with my play. And in the second game, that was the worst game, I think, by my standards, because yeah, I mean, it was in Berlin, but I mean, it transposed to Berlin with this a6 inclusion, and okay, there are many variations there, setups for white, but I mean, I just played something. And instead of playing like knight d2, knight c4, which is kind of a variation, one of the most popular, I played, like knight c3, knight d2, knight g3, knight f1, knight d3, and only then knight c4. Of course, something extremely ridiculous, but then he just blundered a trick and knight takes a5, and it's just game over. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, this maneuver wasn't that bad, I think.
Well, I have to say, Arizam, you seem very excited and happy about the way you play today, basically.
Yes, I just avoided these bad moments which happened to me yesterday and 2 days ago. So yeah, I think it's just vital to be very dangerous opponent, just not to have these blind moments. And and that's precisely what I did today.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but will this be your first semi-final in the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour?
Yes, I think so.
So what is that like to reach the semi-finals?
Yeah, it's of course very great. But I think the most difficult for me is actually to get this from top 8. I had a very good day too, and I was sharing second and third with Magnus prize, and it seemed that there wouldn't be much issues with reaching top 8, but I mean the third day was so so pathetic, so ridiculous for me. I lost 3 games in a row, and then suddenly it was I wasn't so sure anymore about qualifying. So I'm very happy to be here, and today was just a good day at the office, and hopefully tomorrow will be the same.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to follow. We wish you best of luck in semifinals, and again, big congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, Jan-Krzysztof Duda seems to be, just taking things in his stride there. He has qualified for the semi-final, a very convincing victory over David Anton. I can see that Liem has already defeated David Navara. Let's just have a quick recap and see what happened, but it was absolutely crushing.
Yeah, after e4, knight g5, simply black did not manage to create enough counterplay. E takes d3, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, g takes h5, simply collecting the piece. d2, rook d1, rook takes e3, f takes e3, queen c2, king f2, and basically black just resigned because he's
It's an extra rook. It's an extra rook.
Exactly, and white still has the attack. Yeah, the attack is still continuing. The key moment was, of course, that after knight g5, because black went for this e takes this, the desperate sacrifice. If he would have played the move knight f6, then how would have white finished it off? I mean, there are so many promising possibilities. Just also taking on e4, I guess, is very strong because of queen h7 check problem. Black is probably not able to recapture.
I'm looking at knight h7 actually. I don't know if that.
Yeah, knight h7. I wanted to move knight d7.
Yeah, I was just looking at this and trying to find a killer move for white. It's so close.
Yeah, it's close, but still, I wasn't exactly sure if there is a killer punch here.
Yeah,
but
no, I can't see it either.
Yeah, it's very strange, but I mean, we can just show that basically white can also take with the bishop, with the knight. I mean, I can also take with the knight, doesn't really matter, because after knight e4, bishop e4, the problem is that after bishop e4, white has queen h7, king f8, bishop takes c5.
Yeah,
winning the house and winning the game. So there is no way to escape.
Yeah. That's the nasty one, bishop c5. Yeah, that's very, very simple. Can we just go back a few moves? I think we do have a little bit of time, because black's position got so bad so quickly, and in a way, it sort of makes me think of a lot of rapid play games where in a classical, sometimes you can sense the danger and you can invest some time to try and dig yourself out of it. Whereas in rapid chess, sometimes, you can just fall into a bad position and you don't have the time to actually think things through. So let's just see, where was the kind of critical moment when things went from a difficult position to actually a lost position for black?
Well, I think it's connected with the opening, because this is a very, very unpleasant line. And unless you have some incredible preparation from the black side, which justifies your play, as I mentioned, I think that according to the current state of theory, this is very, very unpleasant for black. And you are not supposed to end up in this line. Maybe David was relying on this bishop d7, bishop c6 idea. But this bishop g2, bishop c6, queen b3, threatening knight g5 was somehow, I think, a big problem for him, because otherwise he could have played the move like knight d7 and still keeping his king in the center, but it runs into knight g5, hitting I mean, just to show that bishop g2, queen f7 is checkmate on the spot.
And e6, just take e6, just taking on c6, or
yeah, probably just. I mean, okay, this looks strategically terrible. Yeah, that destroyed pawn structure. The bishop on g7 is not doing the real Grünfeld job because white has pawn on d2, very nicely protecting the c3 pawn. The pawn on c5 will be vulnerable. White just comes knight e4, goes bishop a3, wins the c5 pawn, plus he also keeps the initiative on the king side. So this is somehow very, very unfortunate. So after queen b3, David castled, but after castle, we saw that ag, queen c4 was coming super fast, hitting the c5 pawn, and after knight d7, queen h4, forcing the move knight f6. And after knight f6, now again, we are in some kind of a Paketovich. I mean, black is completely pegged. Yeah, this is very important. I mean, that's the shortcut, you know, in analysis over the board analysis. Also, if we are working with engine, we just like to say a word like, okay, this is Paketovich, so let's move on, yeah? Because black is, the bishop is now closed, the mate is always threatened, and black has zero counterplay, and white very, very nicely showed that there is no need to rush. Yeah, just nicely d3, queen a5, bishop d2. In fact, it looked like David was trying the best what he could to generate counterplay, but simply the position did not enable it.
Yeah, really interesting how as you point out so well, it just reached a critical position so quickly after queen b3. And I mean, maybe, you know, after queen b3, black just simply has to give up that c pawn.
Yeah, so this position, yeah, queen b3. I mean, maybe, okay, in hindsight, maybe anything was better. Maybe even a move like e6 is the way to go. Yeah, that with e6, I'm keeping an eye on the h4 square. Yeah, so that already this queen c4, queen h4 will not hurt me so badly. And secondly, now I can already move knight d7 because knight g5 is not killing me anymore. Maybe this is kind of a way to continue the game. Yeah, and if we get e6, knight d7, okay, we are fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it. I think you've hit the nail on the head again, Peter.
Yeah, okay, some kind of a stability, yeah, because I mean it's very easy, you know, after we saw what happened in the game, yeah, that you play the most natural move castle and you never get another chance to come back to the game, then it's easy to suggest and recommend e6. Yeah, okay, a very big victory for Liem Quang, which means nothing changed. Again, David Navara is in a must-win situation from the white side to tie the match. I'm really looking forward to that game, but until that, okay, the Dingley and Jordan Fanfare, this is so drawish, and we know that actually Dingley is leading the match, so he doesn't really mind the draw. He didn't want to take any risks. But let's jump to the Magnus's game against Hans Niemann. What is happening here? Because what is this is now game number 3, right?
And game number 3, Magnus is leading by 1.5 half.
Yeah, what I wanted to say, if Magnus wins this, then it's game and set, yeah, and match.
That's right, but a draw, it would go to game 4 anyway. But well, looks already very pleasant indeed for Magnus. I mean, that's a beautiful pawn center. And the bishop on b6 is completely locked out of play. I mean, it's even in the sights of the knight on c4. Looks tough for Hans.
Yeah, looks very tough. I mean, this is again, white has this incredible pawn chain. Yeah, b2, c3, d4 pawns. White has lovely pieces, and black's bishop is completely locked out of the game. For example, now this bishop would be on f8. It would be a whole different story. And now we see also evaluation bar jumping, skyrocketing, claiming that white is now almost winning already. Well, to a human eye, it doesn't look winning, but definitely looks like a very, very pleasant clear advantage. Knight d5. So basically, Hans wants to support his e4 pawn with f5. That's the point of knight d5.
But then he gives away the e5 square. So, I mean, if Magnus just keeps it simple here and plays bishop g3,
yeah, what to do? I mean, position is so bad, and the tournament situation is bad. Yeah, so Hans definitely feels like, okay, maybe he needs to get into some kamikaze mode in this position because just normal moves will not be good enough. Rook takes e4. So Magnus actually is not afraid of anything. He's not afraid of calculating. He just realizes that, hang on, I can take, because you wanted to play f5, you wanted to play bishop f5. I have my answers against all these moves.
Okay, well, so let's look at the obvious move. Let's look at f5, because if the rook retreats, then the bishop is on prise. So what is he doing? Is he just giving up an exchange, or what's he doing?
I mean, he played this move so quickly with a very clear idea in mind.
I mean,
but I'm not seeing it yet.
Worst case, you can just sacrifice the exchange, and White obviously has fantastic compensation. He's played f5. So if knight c6 and then rook takes e6.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's wonderful, but is it winning?
Well, why not? Because the bishop on b6 is so bad.
Exactly. I mean, just takes, and then play queen f3 and move the knight. Knight is whatever, yeah.
Or just bishop e5 straight away.
Yeah, and then queen f3 attacking the pawn. There is this tremendous spin. You won't be able to hold on d5 for long. Yeah, it's just almost over. Yeah, rook e6, and
I mean, it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just unless he's got something else here, but I don't quite see it at the moment.
I think maybe Magnus has also anticipated this knight d5 move, yeah, because we just jumped to the position. It looked wonderful, and then knight d5 immediately happened. It was not so easy to immediately get the essence. I mean, it looked wonderful for White, but yeah, this rook e6 looks like the way to go. Rook e6, and just bishop e5. Okay, let's play the most simple move. Even a4 is not really possible, yeah, because then White can even take, but even ignore with bishop c2 would be possible. But of course, why not to take and then come back?
Why not indeed? I mean, White is so stable. There's no counter chances for Black at all.
Yeah, and this it's an eternal pin. Yeah, this is not only pinning the rook, it also pins the king. Black doesn't have, because usually it's like there is different structure and somehow you can hold on, but here it doesn't seem possible. Yeah, rook e6 on the board. Takes bishop e5, queen g5 blitzed out as well.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
I suppose queen f3. I mean,
yeah, just queen f3 followed by knight e3. Yeah,
I don't think White needs to be very original.
But okay, queen f3, at least I get the chance to push a4.
Okay, that's true.
I get a chance to, I mean, you can maybe even start with knight e3, yeah? Putting immediate pressure, but then maybe Black can try to second e5. Takes, bishop takes e3, bishop d5 still looks completely winning for White, winning material. But okay, now Magnus will have to calculate something. Of course, he knows that this is winning. He has an incredible, powerful position, but he needs to calculate.
Okay, let's just zip to Ding against Van Foreest very quickly. So just
yeah, it feels like some old classic from the 80s. I mean, I really feel like, but hang on, this is now a little bit special, yeah, because the knight is almost trapped, but it hits the b6 pawn and is ready to come back to e5, hitting the c6 pawn.
I don't think it's not the kind of position that Jordan really likes. Oh, yeah, okay, he wants to go active. I suppose he wants to play queen e1 or queen f1. Oh, he's played queen e1.
Yeah, creating counterplay. Creating counterplay or forcing perpetual, because in fact, after f3, I don't see any mating ideas, but I do see queen g3, queen e1 finishing the game on the spot. I mean, after f3, it does not, but okay, I mean, knight g3, it looks a bit scary, you know?
Tricky, yeah. Oh, interesting.
It's tricky. I mean, okay, maybe it's still nothing. You can maybe just take on c6 and knight f1 check king g1, but this is because white is threatening queen f6. But I don't think that with white you want to calculate things like this. So hang on. After queen e1, Dingley then goes queen takes c6 immediately. That's the way how he forces the repetition. Queen f2, queen takes d5. But okay, queen g3 check, queen takes e3. I mean, can't black try to play this?
Certainly.
I mean,
We've also got Davi Navara against Liem. That has kicked off, and Navara in a must-win situation.
Queen c7. Okay, that's the defense. But I mean, still, this is looking very scary. I mean, maybe Ding just knows what he's doing. Yeah, queen on c7 guards the g3 square, and the knight is kind of mobile. Yeah, he basically says that, you know what, you don't really have much of a threat. The knight can't really move from e4 because then white will give queen e5 check. And
okay, well, let's see that. So queen e3. So if queen e5 check. And I see. So f6 can just be taken, basically.
Yes, this is the point.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
then maybe
so
this queen c7 was a very nice judgment by Dingley then.
Okay, but after queen e3, queen e5 check, can the king go to h6? Or am I blundering something?
No, but this is what you don't really have a threat. Maybe first of all I have knight f6, and it might be very, very dangerous already.
Okay. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Checkmate coming.
Yep. I've pushed it too far yet again.
Yeah, and by the way, actually, queen e3 might be a losing move because king g8 runs into checkmate with queen f8. It's kind of funny, yeah, that queen e3, queen e5 looks like, okay, white is happy, he escapes with a perpetual. Okay, of course, the most natural move is something like h5, h4, yeah, just creating luft for black's king. And trying to get the pawn to h4. The queen on f2 beautifully protects the weakness on f7 also. But
yeah, but the queen can come back to f4. I mean, it should be okay, one would have thought.
Yeah, should be. I mean, also there is a question that you might be able also to collect knight b6, knight d5. I don't know if I have any threat. Yeah, for example, h5, knight takes b6, h4, knight takes d5 if you have very good nerves or you are a machine and calculating, because queen e5 check will hurt me always whenever I move this knight. Yeah, maybe Ding is just fine. Maybe just fine. It looks very ugly, but...
Okay, let's go to Carlsen against Niemann because we've got a lot of action there. Let's go from where we left it, queen f3.
Yeah, queen f3 played. So no a4. A4 was not played. Rook d8. Knight b6. Magnus just goes for very straightforward takes c4. Primitive but very effective. Rook e5 is kind of forced. The knight can't move. The knight can't move. So takes. Knight f4, c5 check. King h7 and okay, watch out for rook d3. But apart of that, it looks like it should be completely winning. h4, yeah, h4.
That's a cold shower because that starts to simplify.
Yeah, basically it just wins the game on the spot. Yeah, and then Magnus wins and reaches semi-final. Knight h3 check, king g2, queen g4 on the board. It was the only way to prolong the game, but now, of course, it's just completely winning endgame for Magnus.
Yeah, the simplification is simple and, yeah, take on b6, game over.
Yeah.
Okay, so Magnus, if he wins that, he goes through to the semi-final. Ding, let me see. Queen takes e3 is on the board.
What? Queen takes e3 on the board. We kind of talked about that. This is maybe even already too much, but apparently it's still fine. So queen e5 check. How does black want to play? I mean, I'm not really getting this. I mean, f6, knight f6 looks very scary. King h6, knight f6 looked very scary. And
does in that position, does he have queen g5? Does that save everything? Let's just have a quick look.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
Scary.
oof.
Yeah. I understand.
I mean, there is knight g8 check, king h5, g4, then king h4 survives and wins the game. Okay, very interesting, just to show that if white insists, black's king is almost mated, but thanks to the knight, and in fact, white's king will be checkmated after queen d2 check.
Off the crossbar.
Yes. Yeah,
but actually, I think queen g5 might be the only move in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, yeah, it's game over. So we are expecting this incredible adventure, yeah. But I mean, of course, white is not risking because I can just take on d5 and I'm perfectly fine.
Sure.
But I mean, okay, it was more pressure now on Jordan to find that actually he can go for this.
Queen e5 played.
And look at this, but this is very strange because Jordan spent like 3-4 minutes on queen takes e3. He grabs on e3, and after queen e5, he suddenly, look at his pose. He's like calculating and he's not moving. Usually, you should be blitzing out immediately king h6, showing that, you see, I have calculated everything. That's why I took on e3. This scares me now.
Here we go, king h6, here we go.
Yeah, had to be played, but it was played after some 50 seconds. I'm a little bit confused. So knight f6, queen g5, just in time to save.
Well, he still has time. He was just making sure. He's still got 2 minutes, so it's not... Well, he realizes that he's got to get it right.
Yeah, and anyway, he's the type of guy who loves this kind of things. Yeah, that's also famous for Jordan.
Let's just... Oh, Magnus has done it. There we go. So Magnus Carlsen goes through to the semi-final. A very convincing third game. So after a little scare in the first game, where Hans Niemann certainly showed great spirit and nice creativity to sack a piece to draw the first game. But after that, Magnus took control, has won games 2 and 3, and goes through to the semi-final, and a very convincing final position there.
Yes, I mean, okay, after this exchange sacrifice, basically the game was over, and Magnus has showed also very nice technique, but okay, it wasn't difficult. It was reaching this position was difficult, but already the rest, Magnus took very easy care of.
Just Peter, just show us after c4, so take c4, just show us why the knight move will lose. So let's for example, let's play knight f6. Let's show us what happens.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, okay, of course, I know that I can just play c5. Yeah, c5, knight d5, and I take cb6, and I'm just queening and I'm winning. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, this is just such an overwhelming position. Yeah, with the 2 bishops and all the pins, that it just trivial. So yeah, there was nothing else. And look at this. Yeah, all eyes now on Dingley then. So he took
on b6. He took on b6. He didn't go for knight f6.
Yeah, and then after this is what they have been calculating. So it's a 4 sequence of moves. Yeah, let's just show that. Yeah, after knight f6, Ding understood that queen g5 is anyway fine for black. So knight takes b6, f6, knight d5, fe5, knight is the ed4 on the board, and usually the b pawn is dangerous in such situations, but here the black knight on e4 is so powerful and keeps white's king away that it looks like it's just an elemental direct duel.
So I think we're going to cut over. That still looks like a draw. We're going to cut over to hear Magnus.
For a decision there when he went for e4 instead of e takes d4, which I think was reasonable. But that was clearly dictated by the match situation at that point. He felt that he kind of needed to win this game as black, or at least to keep the game alive a little bit more, rather than play for a draw in a somewhat worse position. But as you could see from what happened in the game, that really just meant that it was positionally lost. So after that, it was a relatively straightforward mopping up job.
Okay. Now, were you aware of his Chessable course coming out and avoiding the Jobava London in game 2?
No. I mean, I'm aware that he has worked on a course on that opening, but I wasn't specifically avoiding it. That's for sure.
All right. Well, Magnus, how will you describe your playing now so far, heading into semifinals?
Yeah, I would say it's been okay, and probably need to play better in the last 2 rounds to win.
And I mean, semifinals, we don't know who you will face right now, but right now it looks like it will be Ding. Will you have if it is Ding, will you have a strategy sort of playing against him? I think it's like 3 a.m. in the morning for him. He has struggled with being a little bit tired. Can you play on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just play, and then we'll see how it goes. I have no special plans of like trying to prolong the match or anything, but it's not even certain that it is him that I will play. But I will follow the rest of his match now with interest, of course.
Now, Magnus, of course, in the Charity Cup, we are fundraising money for UNICEF. Among other, we're doing a Play Magnus charity challenge. Today we had Christian Pulisic playing actually a great game of chess. Do you get some sort of joy from hearing other sports stars being such a big fan of what you do?
Yeah, that's always fun, and I've heard great things about his game, so I'll be eager to see the video.
And did you actually know he's such a big chess fan that he actually have a specially engraved bishop on his football boots?
No, I didn't know that.
It's very cool, and we're auctioning them out. Well, Magnus, thank you for joining us, and good luck in the semifinals.
Thank you.
Remember those football.
That's very interesting. Christian Pulisic, who plays for Chelsea. He's an American. He's by nationality, but yeah, I mean, a very talented football player, and yeah, playing for Chelsea, who are doing extremely well at the moment. Are you a football fan, Peter?
Well, actually, I used to be a very, very big football fan, but lately, the last kind of 10 years, I moved to handball. Because in Szeged, in my hometown, we have a very, very strong handball team who is fighting the Champions League to reach Final Four and so on. And the last 10 years, I became an incredible big handball fan. I'm following every single match, every news, every day, like every hour. I'm checking everything. So I don't have so much time for football anymore as I used to have when I knew kind of everything about football.
Yeah, well, anyway, Christian Pulisic is, he's a superstar. Really interesting that I had no idea that he was actually a real chess fan. That's fascinating. I'll have to check out the game and see how well he played, actually. Really interesting. Let's go back to Ding Liren against Jorn van Foreest, because, well, we were sort of thinking this was going to wind up in a draw fairly quickly. There's a pawn on b7, and it's actually still a little bit tricky.
Yeah, this is now actually very dangerous. I'm a little bit surprised how Jordan has let this pawn go all the way to b7, and his last move was after knight b3 check, king c4. He had the option to play the move king b6, but then after knight takes d4, king b7, he was probably afraid that his king is too far away and white might be able to start heading into his camp. Of course, he has a move like h6, but white's knight is just very, very strong. Maybe knight f3, knight e5, targeting those pawns there on the king side. Very, very dangerous. However, what he is doing after knight d2 check, king d5, what else already? Of course, he's trying to run back. But yeah, knight e4, and after king c6, there might be some knight f6. It might just win the game. Wow. And in fact, if Ding wins this, then it's match over. Then Ding qualifies to the semi-final facing Magnus.
Golly, this is Black is on the edge suddenly.
Yeah, King C6 and not just Knight F6. I mean, yeah, Knight F6 on the board, Knight B8, and now Black even got a much worse version that we have been talking about. Yeah, because White's king is taking care of the E pawn. The Knight collects the H7 pawn, and it looks like an elemental win now. Yeah, Ding collects on H7, Knight F8. There is even no reason to go after the D4 pawn. Yeah, he collects the G6 one. Now, of course, King E4 probably will be played, or it's even not necessary. Maybe just take the pawn.
Wow, I think actually that was a very impressive moment from Ding when it suddenly got very critical with Black's queen entering on the king side and the queen and knight very, very active. And Ding thought it through at that moment and played really precisely when it counted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this queen takes f2 and then judging that queen c7, he's absolutely fine and even safe, and maybe Black has to watch out. I think that, yeah, king e4 played. Simply, it feels like this is the systematic way of winning, not allowing the king to reach d5. Now, after king c5, he can just collect the pawn on g6, because after king c4, he can come back with the knight to e5. Yeah, king c5 played. The other move is knight e6, knight takes d4, but knight g6 is much stronger, and yeah, it's on the board. And now knight f4 or knight e5, and it's just wins because the knight covers the pawn, and then White's two pass pawns decide the game.
Okay. I think you better prefer knight f4.
yeah. Of course. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, of course, because knight d7. Yeah, just knight f4, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, on the board. Yeah, I still had in mind that Black plays the move king c4, and then I had both options. Yeah, and then I still kept on talking. Of course, after knight d7, knight e5 would be a terrible idea because Black wins the game. It's the only move. I mean, if you can play wishful chess, then definitely you are hoping for knight e5, but it's not going to happen. Knight f4, knight f6. And now king e5. Yeah, just king e5 and then knight d7 check, king f5. And it basically kind of almost forces resignation, and then White just pushes the pawns. Wow, so after the very, very quiet game, which looked like Dingli just wanted to be solid, then Jordan felt tempted there with this queen a1 check, queen e1. It looked like he might seize the initiative, but in fact, Ding controlled the game with this queen c7. And he afterwards, it looked like it's a draw, but when we reached the night end game, we were talking about this, yeah, that with the B pawn, only White can be better. It looked like Black should be able to make a false draw, but the game, it progressed. Exactly, it turned out why the far advanced pawn is much more important.
It's just I just want to see the details of this position. So presumably after king c4, he's just going to advance the, oh no, okay. The king came back to d6. I was thinking king c4. I was guessing he was just going to play h4.
Yeah, h4 or g4. Yeah, I guess.
And then just give the knight.
Yeah.
And actually, White's king is in such a dominant position that actually the pawns just go through, dominates the king and the knight. I mean, I assume this is just winning.
Yeah, it's just completely winning. And now he collected the second pawn. King e4, king c5, knight e6 check, king c4 takes, knight f6, king e5, knight d7, and then you attack the knight and win the game. So we're gonna see this big semi-final coming up between Magnus Carlsen and Dingliden. I mean, I never want to say something before it's ready, but I mean, in this endgame, there is just no way we can see a miracle.
Okay, I'm looking for a miracle, but yeah, not this one.
Yeah, unbelievable. Which actually means that we only have one game remaining if this game ends between David Navara and Lek Quang, and David Navara needs to win on demand.
Peter, we should stick with this game. Let's just see the conclusion.
Yeah.
Before we switch over.
Yeah, knight b4. Okay, I'm not calling out any move because every move is just a completely winning position. And Ding does the right thing. I mean, he has 1 minute 50 seconds on the clock. There is just no reason to rush. I mean, everything which does not blunder away some perpetual check, which does not exist in the position. But still, you better be careful.
Definitely.
For example, just to show that if white would push g4, then after knight d3 check, king e4, suddenly knight f2 check would escape. Yeah, that's why always pay attention. Yeah, knight moves, very nice, very professional, moving away from any kind of these problems. Knight d3, I'm guessing king e4 will be played, or even king f6, okay. So after knight f4, Ding has calculated.
I think he wants to push the h pawn. I think,
yeah,
exactly. And knight g2, h5. In fact, the knight can't stop the pawn. So actually, Ding has just put his king and knight in the perfect positions. Yeah, I mean, actually that's really classy to put the king and the knight in those positions.
Yeah, big disappointment for Jordan, because I feel like he feels that he had a chance. Yeah, he had the chance there in the second game, bouncing back. He missed that chance, and also in the third game. I mean, it was absolutely not. I mean, there was just no reason to lose this game, and then he would have given himself a chance with the white pieces to try to bounce back. This is a very unfortunate finish for Jordan.
But I mean, really professional from Ding, and really classy actually. You know, to play as he did in that third game. So Ding goes through and will face Magnus in the semi-final. Well, we can talk about that later. In the meantime, let's just go to David Navara against Lek Quang Liem. So just one match going, and Navara is in a must-win situation. So there we have David with the white pieces.
Yeah, with the white pieces, I mean, I don't know. It looks like black has everything under control. Yeah, white is breaking in the center, but this queen g6 move is so powerful because it hits on h3. Yeah, because white's king is pinned, and black's queen is also eyeing the e4 pawn, and basically it shows to me like black has everything under control. Maybe it's even white who needs to fight for survival or try to find the way how to keep the balance, but keeping the balance in a must-win situation is not what is required. I don't know how David will create chances here. Do you have some idea? Do you see something?
Well, I see there's a threat of knight takes h3, so you better defend it. So we'll go king h2.
Yeah,
and then the question is, can black take on e4? And I think black can.
Exactly.
I mean, is there going to be some kind of simplification on e5 and then take on f4? But I mean,
but even the knight is hanging on c4.
Oh, the knight is hanging. Okay, I'm going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, even this is a pro. I mean, yeah, because we know that David needs to win, so we are looking for chances for him. But in fact, I mean, I'm not seeing any chances at all. I mean, okay, so maybe some knight h4, you know, trying to
well, actually, yeah. I mean, actually, I was thinking, can he in fact take on e5 with the knight?
Wow, like this. Yeah, actually,
yeah, exactly.
This queen e4 is on the board. It's on the board.
Okay, so now knight. Let's try knight f, and then pawn takes knight e5, and then you take on f4. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so takes. Rook takes f4, but there will be queen d3, yeah, at the end. So takes, and queen d3.
Okay, so the trick doesn't work, and yeah, black is, of course, more than fine.
Yeah, consolidating. I mean, okay, this basically almost means that black is almost guaranteed the semi-final place. I mean, I just don't see the knight on c4 is hanging. Yeah, b3 is played. I mean, if you have to, I mean, you just lost the center pawn, and then you even had to play a move like b3. And look at David. I mean, David knows that. Yeah, that's it. I mean, he will not get a chance. Queen d6. I mean, okay, I even don't mention anything because I might blunder something, but even move like knight d3 is possible as well. Knight d3. And then rook e2, queen f4 check. Yeah, just to show this, that there is also this idea, knight d3, hitting the rook. There are some tactics with knight g5, but knight g5 runs into rook takes f2. And it seems to be winning. Yeah, knight d3 on the board. Yeah, and David knows everything is written on his face. Rook e2, queen f3, and that's basically goodbye. I mean, forcing the trade of queens. Black is pawn up in an endgame. Is basically winning, and he can even offer a draw. I mean, white has no. Of course, black will never offer a draw, but basically there is nothing to play for from white side.
Actually, what are the regulations as far as draw offers go? Are draw offers allowed? I mean, what's...
I think that it is allowed. I don't think that, but let's hear it from
our producer is telling us that no draw offers before move 30. Well, anyway, it's a moot point.
Yes, I mean, in this moment, okay, there is a repetition possibility, like after rook f2 to go knight d3. You can't go rook d2 because e4 it resigns. But David has gone, okay, still there are, but okay, why would you repeat with black? There is no reason with pawn up and the better position, because for example, after ed4, cd4, a knight landing on d5, yeah, ed4 on the board. I mean, knight d5, this is the moment when you are looking at the opponent and you are expecting resignation, not even to think about the draw. Yeah, takes, knight d5.
Yep, it's on the boards. Knight d5, super solid, and that knight on c4 has just nowhere to go as well. It's a very depressing position for white to look at. Yeah, that's really tough. Just move the king over and king g8, I imagine.
Yeah, basically there are only few hopes. If there would be no increment and it would be a bullet game, then you can try to flag the opponent. Yeah, that's one thing. And the second slight hope is that maybe the opponent disconnects, but this will also not work. We have seen that Liem Quang is having everything under control. Yeah, takes, rook e8. And otherwise, chess-wise, no miracles are possible in this position. I mean, we could be talking about white might be able to escape somehow by miracle. Yeah, that would already be a miracle, but that would be possible. However, winning this position is just impossible.
Yeah, tough one to play.
Yeah, I mean, black is pawn up. Black has the better pawn structure, has the better knight. I mean, Jan-Krzysztof, this is the badewanne. Yeah, this badewanne.
The bathtub, yeah.
Bathtub. This is, and with the knight on d5. I don't know. We have to ask Jan if he has ever seen bathtub with a knight on d5 in this. I mean, this is a super bathtub.
Well, this is like a bathtub with a beautiful rubber duck, but the side of the bathtub just protecting everything. Yeah,
bathtub in a 7-star hotel, probably. Yeah, I mean, okay,
yeah, probably golden taps.
Everything is. I mean, it can't be more beautiful than this, and I can understand the incredible frustration from David that he fought back. He won second game on basically demand because he needed to catch up, and then this third game. I mean, that third game should be very, very painful because after bouncing back, you don't want to lose the next game basically without given a chance of really fighting.
And he won that second game absolutely beautifully as well. So yes, a pity when he'd equalized. I see how we're going to get a repetition. Rook e7, rook d8, rook back to e8, and so on.
And you think we're gonna see repetition because there are also 2 rating points. It's very interesting. I remember that Kaya was also asking the players that how much attention they are paying to the 2 ratings, and I think the answer was like, let's get the job done rather than fighting for each rating point. But one really feels like this is such a dominant and lovely position. On the other hand, call it a day and getting ready for the tomorrow's semifinals. is probably also absolutely professional approach.
It's tempting to play rook b3, rook e3, and just eat the next pawn, rook e3, rook d3, and take another pawn as well.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Look at Liam. I think he's also now in a little bit of a trouble. Yeah, that he has to decide between winning the game or just finishing it on the spot.
Okay, give me these troubles, please. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Professional and actually sportsman-like. I would say that, yeah, there is no reason to try to humiliate the opponent by trying to beat him as much as possible if you can get the job done. And draw happened, which means that Lek Quang Liam seals the match and sets up the other semi-final between Lek Quang Liam and Jan-Krzysztof Duda.
Well, Peter, what did I tell you? All four favorites just powered through. It was crystal clear. Why am I not a betting man? I don't know.
Yes. And okay, everyone who follows the shows knows that I hate to predict. I just really hate to predict. But I mean, congratulations. I mean, well done. I would have not expected that it would really run so smoothly. And by the way, actually, we even did not reach any tie breaks, right?
Yeah, okay, that's rather unusual. So let's just look at those semi-finals. I would say the semi-finals are less predictable. So we have Jan-Krzysztof Duda will play against Liem Quang. We have Magnus Carlsen against Ding Liren. And well, let's just talk about that one for the moment, because actually Magnus never has an easy time against Ding. In classical chess, in rapid play as well. Ding is a problem opponent for Magnus.
Well, but why shouldn't it? Yeah, it's Ding Liren is, I think, like number 2, number 3 in the world ranking for the last 2-3 years. He has incredible preparation. Yeah, this is, I think, very, very important. Magnus doesn't enjoy so much if he knows that his opponents are so well prepared and ready to challenge him. I mean, there is just no reason for Ding Liren to be afraid of any of Magnus's openings. He knows that he's super solid with black. He has a very good repertoire from the white side, which gives him the chance to try to put pressure on Magnus. And then he has the confidence, yeah, and then it's already a big battle.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can think back to quite a few of their games where Ding has just outplayed him beautifully. I mean, there was the rapid play tiebreak games in St. Louis in the Sinkfield Cup. When was that? 2019, I think it was. Yeah, where I mean, Ding played just beautifully to win those. A wonderful final game. I think we're going to cut to an interview with Liem Quang any moment.
I think I got to a very good start today. I outplayed David in the first game, and the second game was a bit shaky. Maybe I could have honed a couple of points, but I missed a lot of things in the second game. So once I strike back on the third game, I knew I only needed a draw in the last game, and that makes things a bit easier.
And of course, with the way you're playing in this tournament and in the preliminaries, we're calling you a favorite all the time here. How are you enjoying being a favorite going into these matches?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't say I'm a favorite. I think my opponents are very well-respected players, and I think they are very dangerous too. So, but I think if I'm on a good form, I can put up a good fight against them. So I think the next match is against Duda, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so my score against Duda is, I think he still has +2 or +3, but he's a very interesting player, and I look forward to a big fight with him.
Yeah, I mean, what will be your strategy, if you can reveal a little bit from your previous encounters with Jan-Krzysztof? What seems to be a good plan against him?
Well, at first I should just try to keep doing what I have been doing. So perhaps play a little bit fast and put pressure on them on the clock. And of course I have to be better prepared and probably have to study his games a little bit.
course. And well, doing that, will you do that together with your fantastic team at the Webster University? I'm hearing so many words from Jovanka and David about just how good that team effort is at the university you're teaching.
Yeah, I have a very good team here at Webster. They are not really helping me directly during the tournament, but I guess I also benefit from working with them on their openings. So it's kind of beneficial to all of us because I learned something from them and they also learned something from me, and we share some novelties, some ideas together. So having a team of strong GMs to work with is definitely a benefit of my job.
Yeah. And the way you're playing, Liem, it's just so fun to watch you, and so your games is so great. So how important as a chess player is it to play with confidence and to go into games feeling confident?
Yeah, I think having confidence is key, especially in faster time controls, because otherwise you could doubt yourself over and over again and waste valuable time on the clock. So you have to be confident and just trust your intuition and making reasonable move. You don't have to make the best move all the time, but you just have to make sound move and be ahead on the clock.
Yeah, sounds like a great plan. Liem, we're so happy for you making it to the semifinals and wish you best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, do you think Liem is now a favorite to win the whole?
Really interesting how Liem talked about working at Webster University. You know, he's the chess coach there, and they have some incredibly strong players. And I'm just looking here. We've got, for example, John Burke, who is up and coming grandmaster in the States as well. There's Lazaro Bruzon from Cuba, Ilya Nizhnik, Jacobian, Jose Martinez. I mean, that must be fun to be able to work together to assist preparation. I mean, it's kind of a win-win all round.
Well, I think also Benjamin Gladura is there, no? I think he's also in Webster University, and he is also a very, very ambitious player, and he played in the Hungarian national team last year in the European Team Championship, and he was winning one game after another coming from the States. So certainly he's also benefiting a lot. And by seeing how well Lek Quang Liem is playing, and also how well Benjamin was playing last year in the European Team Championship, it really feels like something special is going on there.
Yeah, really interesting. And well, Liem is in just cracking form in this tournament. You know, preliminaries, he won that so convincingly. So that's going to be a fascinating one. Liem playing against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. And well, I didn't realize it, but Liem said he actually has a plus score against Duda, which is very impressive, as Duda is really up and coming. So
yeah, but I mean, did you pay attention to this, what Lek Quang Liem was saying? It was fantastic that he said, like, well, I guess I have to do what I have been doing so far, yeah, which means playing very well. I should be putting pressure on the clock, which is also fantastic news. And this is actually, everybody knows that maybe a little bit the weakness of Jan-Krzysztof, or he doesn't mind getting into time trouble, but after all, against these guys, better you watch out for your clock and you control it. And then also he told that it would be nice to be very well prepared, come up with some novelties. I mean, a total package, no? I mean, what else can you wish for?
He wants everything, yeah. So well, we look forward to that one. I think we're going to wrap things up. I think that's the end of the interviews. So well, I just want to, before we finish, I just want to mention again that this is the Charity Cup, and the Play Magnus Group has partnered with UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, to, as you can see there, help children in Ukraine. So a wonderful cause, and it's a privilege to be involved with this. And if you feel like you've been entertained over the past few days and would like to contribute, then please do consider it. That would be absolutely fantastic. So far, over $71,000 has been raised. So thank you everyone for contributing so far. So we will continue the tournament, the semi-finals tomorrow, starting at 1800 Central European time, and we'll be there again. So Peter, thanks very much for your company and your insights today, as ever. And well, we'll see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan-Krzysztof, and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you. And I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind the scenes insights. See you then.